At the start of the meeting, he commended them for political challenges they faced in their own countries just to come to the meeting. Now they have just released the Camp David principles, which include ensuring real-time sharing of warning information about North Korean missiles, also opposing any unilateral effort to change the status quo in the Indo-Pacific. They're also agreeing to launch an annual trilateral dialogue. They have a joint news conference scheduled for later this hour. The defense is calling DNA evidence into question at a hearing for quadruple murder suspect Brian Kohberger in Idaho. He is charged in the stabbing deaths of 4 university students last year in an off-campus house. Investigators used genetic genealogy to find a suspect. That was based on DNA evidence found on a knife sheath at the murder scene, but the defense is now calling that into question. They want a lot more information about it. They also want the trial delayed. Right now it is set for October. Signing a pledge to support the nominee is a deal breaker for some Republicans running for president, including former Texas Congressman Will Hurd, who said today at the Iowa State Fair he's not so concerned about supporting other candidates, but he is opposed to signing a pledge to support Donald Trump if he's the nominee. Trump has also refused to sign the pledge, which is one of the requirements for the first GOP debate next Wednesday on Fox. Fox News Radio will have special coverage of that beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday at foxnewsradio.com. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A suspect shot by a cop. 76 and mostly sunny on the circle. Radar's clear. Low temps drop to 56 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:02. There was a shooting in Beech Grove this afternoon, just after 12 o'clock. State Police Sergeant John Perrine said it started with a chase when the suspect wouldn't stop for a police officer, and he says an officer did fire their gun.
And the suspect has an injury consistent with a gunshot wound. The suspect is in stable condition.
Perrine says officers at the scene did have their body cameras on. Investigators will be taking a look at the footage. And again, a Task Force 1 is left for Hawaii to help people there deal with the wildfires that have killed more than 110 people. Task Force 1 leader Jay Settergren says flying can be challenging logistically.
Flying, you have to pull everything off and reconfigure it. It has to be weighed. There's a lot more rules that go into play because of carrying hazardous materials with us, like batteries and gasoline and that kind of stuff.
He says they could be gone 10 days or longer, depending on how bad the disaster is. The average price for a gallon of gas in Indiana today is $3.90, says GasBuddy.com. That's above the national average by 7 cents. The latest iRead results show that 20% of Indiana third graders need more basic reading skills. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Education Secretary Katie Jenner says it's only getting worse. Reading skills in Indiana have been dropping for a decade, and leaders say it has little to do with the pandemic. The State Department of Education wants reading skills to improve, and they've given schools 4 years to do that. Jenner says low reading skills have serious consequences for Indiana's long-term future. K through 12 schools have $1 billion in federal pandemic relief left to spend. Ryan Hedrick, 93. WIBC Mobile News.
IU men's basketball head coach Mike Woodson is getting a $1 million raise. IU athletic director Scott Dolson says Woodson earned the raise through success on the court and recruiting. He's won 44 games as the Hoosier head coach, and the pay bump makes him the third highest paid coach in the Big Ten. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-646-7049 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-646-7049. That's 800-646-7049. What do you have to lose? Call 800-646-7049. Again, 800-646-7049.
With traffic on the 5s at 3:05. Good afternoon, Matt Baer.
Good afternoon, Harrison. We're looking in Carmel and, oh boy, westbound 146th Street shut down at Gray because of a vehicle fire. Gray shut down both directions at 146 because of a vehicle fire. I am not there. Looking at Emerson Avenue, closed both directions from Raymond and Subway Street. That is because of an officer involved in shooting. Also a crash just reported 34th and Keystone Avenue, inbound 69, stop and go 96 to 82nd. Crash east side, Shadeland at 32nd. Traffic sponsored by Isaacs and Isaacs. Were you hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident? The insurance companies don't have the advantage of the video proof that the Hammer may have. Call today or visit roadproof.wewin.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This afternoon and evening, we're tracking partly to mostly sunny skies across the entire state. Temperatures going from the 80-degree mark in the afternoon to about 55 overnight. So a cooler, calm, quiet evening coming our way. I'm Wish TV Storm Check 8 meteorologist Junior Arcides for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer. I've got great news for you. You're not going to believe this.
Oh, man, I need some great news on a Friday.
The economy's fine. Inflation, non-existent. Gas prices, don't worry about it. Real wages, oh, man, killer.
Can I ask you a question? Are you high?
Well, no, I'm just reading this op-ed from Congressman Andre Carson.
Oh.
The Indy Star.
Okay.
That said Bidenomics is working. Andre Carson, of course, representative for Indiana's 7th Congressional District. That would be Marion County, and who only has a job because of his last name and his grandmother, Julia Carson.
So I'm going to read you a little bit of this op-ed that Andre Carson put in the Indy Star about Bidenomics. Quote, job creation is up, with over 13 million new jobs created since President Biden took office, including 800,000 manufacturing jobs. That's more jobs added in 2.5 years than any president in recorded history has ever created in a 4-year term. He goes on. Inflation is down.
Oh.
Unemployment has remained below 4% for 17 consecutive months. All right.
Nothing to worry about. Cool.
Everybody just put your feet up on your desk, crack open a cold one, and relax, because Andre Carson says inflation is down and everything's fine.
This whole job creation thing, do they not know the difference between jobs recovered and jobs created?
Right. Because at the end of the Trump presidency and the beginning of the Biden presidency, there was the COVID situation where jobs were forced to shut down because of COVID. Many of them never recovered. Some of them shut down for a while and then opened up under the presidency of Joe Biden. And they're counting those as created jobs. And oh, by the way, the states that have actually created some of these jobs that they're talking about, they have Republican governors. 8 of the top 10 states in terms of job growth in this country, it's because of Republican governors. Many of them were the ones that decided to open up sooner rather than later when it comes to COVID restrictions. So take that with a grain of salt. And as for inflation, you don't get to do a victory lap on saying inflation is down.
Down from what?
When it hit its record levels under you. It's like what Joe Hogsett says, well, homicides are down. Yeah, you're not supposed to set a record every single year. You're not supposed to have record inflation every single year. You could still be horribly bad with a lot of inflation going on, not having it be a record, and doing a victory lap like Andre Carson and Joe Biden are.
And what about the gas prices? Do you have anything to say about the gas prices in this column? Because I paid $3.99 the other day to fill up 3/4 of a tank in my truck and paid $77. So
real wages, which is your salary compared against the number of inflation in this country, real wages have been below the inflation line since the ill-advised stimulus payments under President Biden. People have had a pay cut for over 20 years. I didn't see that in the op-ed that Representative Andre Carson put in the Indy Star. And there's a new survey from Lending Club that says 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck right now.
Yeah, that's scary. That's an awful stat, man. That's I've been through that before. I know what that's like, and 61%. Ask those 61% of Americans if Bidenomics is working.
Larry Kudlow is the former economic advisor under Donald Trump. He sat down and interviewed Donald Trump, and they were talking about some of these numbers under Bidenomics.
He says he's created 13 million new jobs. Nobody can find it. Yeah. Okay. 2.1 million. You had 4.9 million. That's right. He says he's created 800,000 manufacturing jobs. No one can find them. Mm-hmm. It's maybe recovery from COVID, but that's all. You had more than twice as many. And then the other thing, in terms of people hurting and living paycheck to paycheck, the mortgage rate has jumped from 2.65% to 7.5%, 7.51. That is killing people.
Yeah. So if you're keeping score at home, groceries are up, gas is up, travel expenses are up, mortgage rates are up, and real wages are down.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
But according to Congressman Carson, everything's fine.
Right. Bidenomics, it's great. Now, if we're going to talk about Bidenomics or Joe Biden, I think we need to have the official music for one wheelin' dealin', hair sniffing, kiss stealing Joe Biden.
I got hairy legs.
Look, fat. Look, kiss it.
Look, fat.
Look, fat.
Thank you, Dr. Pepper.
Thank you, Dr. Pepper. And file this under the category of nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Except the main lawyer at the White House has announced they're skipping out. They're leaving. They're resigning. And this is just as the Oversight Committee is now accusing Joe Biden of hiding behind the fake name Robert L. Peters to help cover up some of his bribery. Here's Peter Ducey.
All right, move on.
Oh, come on. Here's Peter Ducey.
Nothing to
Is
see
Joe
here.
Biden Robert Peters? Oversight Committee Chair James Comer writes to the National Archives on May 27, 2016. Vice President Biden took a call with the president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko. It is concerning to the committee, however, that this document was sent to Robert L. Peters, a pseudonym the committee has identified as then Vice President Biden. Adding, quote, Joe Biden has stated there was an absolute wall between his family's foreign business schemes and his duties as vice president. But evidence reveals that access was wide open for his family's influence peddling. At the time, the Obama-Biden administration said aliases are normal.
If they are inundated in one account with either public emails or spam or the like, that they can continue to use their other account for normal work.
That doesn't explain everything, and this president is now going to need somebody new to explain things to investigators because the White House counsel Stuart Dellery is leaving. Officials around here haven't told us who the new top lawyer is going to be, but whoever that person is, on their first day, they're going to have a full inbox.
So I'm wondering when the next Trump indictment is going to come down now that we've had this piece of news. Every time something negative comes up about Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, the investigation into the Biden crime family, there seems to be another indictment. We were just talking about Arizona thinking about giving the old indictment to Trump yesterday.
Oh, Katie Hobbs is getting this everything lined up in Arizona to try to file her election interference indictment against Donald Trump.
Robert Peters. I mean, that's not an adult film star.
Right.
The name of a porn actor.
That's what Matt Bear goes by on Tinder. Robert Peters. Robert L. Peters. Which brings us to great moments in fake name history. Anthony Weiner got busted with the alias.
I know this one.
Carlos Danger.
New York mayoral candidate Anthony Weiner apologized this week after acknowledging another explicit online fling after resigning from Congress. Facebook messages posted on the gossip site The Dirty were allegedly sent by Weiner using the alias Carlos Danger to a 22-year-old woman between August and November 2012.
So, Allison, let me ask you this. If a gentleman slides into your DMs and he says his name is Carlos Danger, Does that turn you on, or is that a deal breaker?
If that's not a red flag, I don't know what is.
Exactly.
Great moments in fake name history. Do you remember the alias of Michael Vick, Nige?
Mexico.
Ron Mexico.
Ron Mexico.
Ron Mexico.
Yeah.
Former NFL quarterback Michael Vick. This is before the dog fighting scandal.
What was that for? What did he? I forget.
So Michael Vick allegedly had relations with a woman and gave her herpes.
Oh,
and one of the details in the lawsuit filed against Vick was that when they went to go get tested, he didn't want to create headlines, so he used the alias Ron Mexico. So Michael Vick, not wanted to be outed for herpes testing.
I forgot about that whole deal. Wow.
Used the name Ron Mexico. And ladies and gentlemen, here's the ballad of Ron Mexico.
Ron Mexico, Ron Mexico. He's loved and he's lost, but he's never longed. He travels the world, righting wrongs. He's American born, 100% male. He's got the heart of a lion and the dong of a whale. He's tan and strong with honey-hued hair. When he wants a fish, he takes it from a bear. He doesn't need a helmet to breathe in space. He traveled back in time to punch Hitler in the face. He knows karate and even kung fu, but he's charming enough to co-host The View. He's Ron Mexico, Ron Mexico.
Come on.
Ron Mexico, Ron Mexico.
Ron Mexico, the ballad.
Brilliant.
Great moments in fake name history. Matt Bear, what's going on?
Southbound Keystone Parkway is stopped right now at 116th Street. Carmel, more bad news. Gray Road shut down right now at 146th Street because of a vehicle fire. Westbound 146 closed to Gray. The whole thing's a mess right now. I'm avoiding in Carmel. Crash at 34th at Keystone Avenue. Inbound at 69 stop and go 96 to 82nd at inbound 65 stop and go 21st to Meridian Penn. Traffic sponsored by Mattress Firm. Don't wait. Get to Mattress Firm's best sale of the year. Score king for queen price and get a free adjustable base on select mattresses. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
What was the alias in the movie Step Brothers? No, I'm sorry. It was Talladega Nights of John C. Reilly's character when he's talking to Will Ferrell in the bed and he claims that he changed his name.
Mike Honcho.
Mike Honcho. Matt Bear off the top rope, baby. Matt Bear coming to the rescue. Mike Honcho. All right, Matt Bear, we're going to need to get you in studio next, okay?
I'm there, man.
Way to go, Matt. 76 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $139 and a free hallway too, and $50 off air duct cleaning with Zero-Res. 388-5141 and ZeroResIndy.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
So I've been in my current house for about 10 years. It's 40 plus years old. The garage floor was never taken care of. It was old and dirty and cracked. And that's when I said, I got to bring in the guys from Galaxy to give me a brand new coating on my garage. They did a tremendous job. My new Galaxy concrete garage floor is out of this world. If you spend a lot of time in your garage like I do, you're going to love it. It's 4 times as strong, easy to clean. They don't use epoxy. They use something much better. It's called Polyurea Plus. The manufacturer just upgraded the warranty from 15 years to lifetime. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com or call them 751-9070.
I have a friend who just moved to St. Louis. Huge career switch. But she's still paying mortgage here in town, just killing her financially. She used a traditional home selling process as something like an agent that had been in the family forever, and what a nightmare this has been. Matt Bear here. Hey, it makes me know that I'm using Open Door and the Open Door app because they let me skip all the hassles that come with buying and selling your home. You pick the closing date, so no double mortgages. You're in control from the very beginning in the process. Man, it's so streamlined. streamlined. You could request an offer from anywhere on any device, even sell your house and buy your next house all in one move. I mean, there isn't always a perfect time to move. Open Door can help anytime be a perfect time. Take control of your move when you start with Open Door. Visit opendoor.com or download the Open Door app to get started. That's opendoor.com or download the Open Door app. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage Incorporated, license 020-61130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage LLC in its other markets. Terms and conditions apply.
Basements get a bad rap. Probably because so many of them are wet, leaky, and musty. Thanks to screenwriters, crawl spaces aren't very popular either. Michaelis is putting an end to the horror show. Their time-tested waterproofing systems eliminate and prevent water issues. Damp and moldy becomes clean and healthy. And their French drains, vapor barriers, and encapsulation techniques turn crawl spaces into a Disney set. Yeah, okay, that probably went a bit far. But with over 35 years experience, they have a lot of homeowners enjoying their basements again. Think Michaelis. And think how nice it would be to get rid of foundation cracks, basement leaks, damp smells, and all the nightmares that come with them. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Me and my buddy, we make it all of this money.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. The traffic beast, Matt Bear.
What's up?
The eye candy of this building.
We're in so much trouble if that's the case.
The YouTube numbers, man, they always go up when you are on camera. You are the Donald Trump, and we are the news agencies. We need you on camera to get the ratings and numbers.
Remdesivir.
Hydroxychloroquine.
Just makes my day when that happens.
You reminded me of something in the hallway earlier today that I hadn't even thought about. So since the city has been doing this whole no turn on red thing downtown, we've talked about it. But this weekend, it's going to get a test because the first Colts home game, the preseason game against the Bears, is happening.
Yeah, this is trial by fire this weekend. It's the big first test. And what we're talking about are all these no right turn signs that have come up here at Miles Square in downtown. They started popping up about a week ago. You know, there's a rub with the General Assembly and the city going on and all that. But the point is the no right on red signs are up downtown. And this is going to be the first Colts game that we have to deal with them. And I'm telling you, I've done most of the intersections downtown in Miles Square. Most of them are up.
And the creatures of habit, season ticket holders who the only time they might go downtown is when they're going to a Colts game. They're going to be creatures of habit, and they're going to just turn when they want. Like, that's the fear, right?
Absolutely, and that's what they do. I mean, it's what I did in my town before I came down to Indianapolis. You know, you see no turn on red. You don't see anybody coming, so you turn on red. It's just what you did, and nobody thought anything of it. Now, it's the stakes are a little bit higher, I mean, with people walking around. So I really want to see if everybody's able to stay safe. Of course, the pedestrians have to cooperate with the cars. Yeah, it's a big deal. So everybody.
Well, what's the idea behind no turn on red? Is it the pedestrians? Is that what they're saying is going to reduce cars hitting people?
Yeah, I have it on two things. One is just a safety issue, and two, I think it's mostly to make Miles Square in downtown mostly walking for the most part outside of Monument Circle. I think that's going to absolutely shut down in our lifetimes to vehicles and to foot traffic, and it's going to happen here pretty soon. And
so can I put the tinfoil hat on? Didn't mean to cut you off
no,
there.
We're fine.
If this is coming from the leaders of the city, and this is designed to eliminate some traffic issues, ultimately, a problem we've seen for years on Monument Circle was knuckleheads come down here, they drive, they get into trouble, and fights start and whatnot. Is this all part of what's happening on the circle, blocking it off for these putting greens and games and stuff? So at the end of the day, the leaders of the city can say, look what we've done. We have eliminated all of the crime in downtown, when in essence, they've just kind of moved it out a little bit.
I feel wholly comfortable saying that is exactly what's going on. I also feel comfortable saying that the decision's already been made to close Monument Circle. I mean, the part of, and I love the green space they put out in front of Monument Circle. It's park on the park.
I'm not against that. I'm really not.
It's terrific, but what I'm saying is that was supposed to be the trial thing, the trial period for closing off Monument Circle. And I just really think that decision's already been made. If you look at the one ways, going to two ways, and everything else that's happening around here, I think it's a done deal. Okay, sure, let's go.
And if the mayor's office wants to say, look how safe we've made Monument Circle because of these games and puzzles and things we've got out now. Well, do you also notice how many police officers are out here now? How many of these very well-paid violence interrupters. I never used to see any of them. Never used to see this many police cars on the circle just patrolling. And now there's one every 100 yards.
Well, Hammer, are they down there for safety or are they there to make sure nothing gets stolen? That's what I'm starting
Well,
to
my
wonder.
point is, if you would have done this before the putting greens were installed, you wouldn't have had to.
And I'm right there with you. This security on the circle. I don't know if people really believe that there is a violence here that happens in downtown, and it does very much so. I've lived here a decade now, and whether or not it's escalated, I can't say that. I haven't been a part of it. But yeah, the circle, the test on that is a closure, and the security is something that needs to be done on the weekends. Listen, I'm not talking about spending gobs of taxpayer dollars for this, but this is it, guys. I mean, we look right out, we see it. I mean, when I was a kid, when I lived in St. Louis, you knew about Monument Circle. I know my parents were from Indiana, okay? But this is the cornerstone of our downtown. We got to get this one right. It's got to be safe, okay? And whether that's pedestrians or crime or whatever it is, this has got to look good. It's got to be good out here.
Matt Baer, the traffic beast with us. Earlier today, we found out that Task Force 1 from Indiana, the elite group of badass firefighters and first responders on their way to Hawaii to assist. We were talking in the hallway earlier today. It was in between one of your shifts because you do like 85 of them here, Matt. These guys are really like the Top Gun pilots of firefighters. They're the best of the best.
I'll take your words. Badass. That's what these guys are. And it was just one of those moments that hit me, Task Force 1 going to Maui and to, do some awful things that need to be done and to see some awful things to be done. And they don't know how long they are going to be gone. And to be able to give your time. And I saw Task Force 1 put out this Twitter video today, and I retweeted it, Matt in Traffic, earlier. And it's just the guys walking in 4 columns towards this private plane. And it makes you proud, man. It kind of gives you a chill just to see that they're going to go. And what they're doing is selfless. It's altruistic. They're leaving their families. They're going away from their families.
That's a big sacrifice.
Yeah, and they've put in their time already. They've already been to the Trade Center. They've been to Oklahoma. They've been to these places. And here, a fire comes up in Maui, halfway across the world for us, and they're like, give us our private plane. Give us any kind of plane. We are going to go there, and we're going to make a difference. I love these guys. They're absolute heroes in my eyes.
It's a group that already runs into danger, and they see the most dangerous situation imaginable right now. Thousands missing, presumed dead, 111 is the death toll, communication issues on the island, and these people are saying, I want to go, I want to help.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, think about this. And per our discussion, can you imagine being the families of these guys and women, these men and women? You have to have that discussion. Hey, I'm part of something here that's bigger than me. And I have to go. It's part of my responsibility and what I do for a living. And for this family to go to Maui and, try to help out. I mean, how do you understand that if you're a spouse or even a child? I mean, that is so hard to comprehend.
You barely understand it when they have to go out and risk their lives here in the city, much less halfway across the world, as you put it.
Yeah, and and as we think about it, of course, our hearts go out to our IMPD officers and everything else, just to everybody that puts in that kind of effort. I would hope I would have the stones to do something like that if it was ever called upon me. You just don't know, but you would hope you would.
If somebody wants to stalk you, Matt, where can they find you?
87. Oh, okay. Whoa, that was habit. Check the Beth. We are looking at Matt in Traffic. We put our videos up there. We have great conversation. We meet a lot of new people, and we're just pretty chill over there and help each other out. So please, Matt in Traffic, would love to have you.
Matt, you're a rock star. Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Thank goodness my wife has a better sense of curb appeal than I do when it comes to our house. Because our sidewalk and front porch were falling apart. They needed to be completely replaced. And I was going to go with the basic, regular, generic concrete that looked the same as before. But my wife was like, no. Go to indiedecorativeconcrete.com. Go to their website. And of course, I was immediately blown away at what they could do. When you're talking about taking a basic sidewalk and porch, they turned my basic sidewalk and porch into a custom stamped concrete area with a ton more space. They basically created a patio and a porch and an absolutely awesome, unique look. You could go see before and after pictures at the Hammer and Nigel Facebook page. You'll be blown away. The owners are awesome. It's locally owned, and they don't use subcontractors. Whether it's a new patio, sidewalk, porch, don't do anything until you've checked out nddecorativeconcrete.com. And tell them Nigel sent you, please.
JMV here for Sundown Gardens, and Sundown is gearing up for the fall season. Lots of great nursery product available. Come shop now to be on schedule for fall planting. It's still a great time to plant perennials, and planting now gives them time to establish a root system before winter arrives. Visit Miss Mary's for great home accents, fall decor, houseplants, and more. And now's a great time to get a landscape consultation for fall installation as well. All of this at Sundown Gardens, 186th and Spring Mill Road. That's sundown.gardens.com. Sundown.gardens.com.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, fun in the sun goes way beyond the white sand beaches. Let's rock out at a waterfront concert at the Sound. Let's marvel at masterpieces of the Chihuly Collection and make some flippered friends at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Let's pedal the 75-mile Pinellas Trail and stop at Florida's oldest microbrewery along the way. This fall, let's go for all the sun and none of the crowds. Let's shine. Plan your getaway at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Police say he wouldn't pull over. Sunny with a few clouds and 77 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. Your radar's clear. You've got a low of 56 degrees tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:31. There was a shooting in Beech Grove this afternoon, just after noon. State Police Sergeant John Perrine said it started with a chase because the suspect didn't stop for police. He says an officer fired their gun.
And the suspect has an injury consistent with a gunshot wound. The suspect is in stable condition.
He says the officers at the scene did have body cameras. Investigators will be reviewing the footage. The fully activated Indiana Task Force 1 is now landed in Maui. They're helping with search and rescue efforts there. The rescue team's leader, Jay Settergren, says there are several people traveling with them for the first time.
You know, it'll be interesting because being away from your family that long and sometimes not being able to communicate with them while we're there because of poor communications can be challenging, especially for a first-timer.
He says there is a family support unit to help. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says he's ready for next week's Republican primary debates, regardless if former President Donald Trump shows up or not. The New York Times is reporting Trump will opt out for an interview with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson on the same night. Your former Governor Mike Pence will be there. The debate's August 23rd in Milwaukee. WIBC's coverage starts at 7 p.m. next Wednesday. People along the West Coast are preparing for Hurricane Hillary.
Rain's going to start Saturday, well in advance of this hurricane making landfall, but it's going to create major flood impacts. Right now, the hurricane hunters are inside the storm. They're going to collect a bunch of data, which helps us to forecast. That's why all the alerts are starting to increase. We have the hurricane watch down off of the western side of the Baja Peninsula, getting close in Mexico near the border to California.
Amy Freeze, a meteorologist with Fox Weather. Flood watches are also in place. A federal appeals court has rejected a plea to expand absentee vote by mail in Indiana to all age groups. A panel of several judges ruled this week that Indiana's age limit on voting by mail does not violate the 26th Amendment. If you're over 65, you can vote absentee by mail without having to give a reason. If you're younger than that, you'll still have to meet certain criteria if you can't vote in person. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:33.
Every business deserves a great deal. That's why, for a limited time, we're launching the Mobile Made Free event. With Comcast Business Internet, new and existing customers can get 1 year of unlimited mobile for free. Yep, you heard that right. An entire year, free. It's our best internet, powered by the next generation 10G network and with 99.9% reliability, plus 1 line of free mobile for a year. The Mobile Made Free event is happening now.
Get started with internet and advanced security for $39 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, for a limited time only, ask how new and existing customers can get 1 year of unlimited mobile for free during the Mobile Made Free event. Call or go online today to learn more. Ends 9/21/2023. EcoBill and autopay required. New 100 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Mobile offer requires 100 megabits per second internet and new unlimited intro mobile service. Other restrictions apply.
The traffic at 334. What's going on, Matt Bear?
All right, Harrison, we are looking in Carmel, westbound 146th Street, closed to Gray Road. That's because of a vehicle fire. Gray Road not doing well at 146 either, so let's avoid the area. Also looking at Thompson Road between Madison and Matthews. That is a crash closing the road. It is a crash with somebody hurt and a vehicle against the train. Crash at 34th at Keystone Avenue, crash Shadelet Avenue at 32nd. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Design it before you buy it at bwindow.com. Now for a limited time, get 40% off all products, a free entry door plus 20 months, no interest, no payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This afternoon and evening, we're tracking partly to mostly sunny skies across the entire state. Temperatures going from the 80-degree mark in the afternoon to about 55 overnight. So a cooler, calm, quiet evening coming our way. I'm Wish TV Storm Check 8 meteorologist Renard Sutis for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Wow. Hi, my name is Nigel. Hammer's over there with a special guest at the DriveHubro.com hotline.
What makes this show a program that gets voted number one in America by the leading trade publications is the amazing guests that we have on to break things down. And one of our favorite is Tommy Piggott. He's the RNC Rapid Response Director.
Absolutely.
Tommy, welcome to the Hammer and Nigel Show. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me on. That's quite the intro. Appreciate it.
Man, we've been watching this response, if you want to call it that, from Joe Biden to the tragedy in Hawaii. And earlier in the week, it was no comment as he sat there on the beach. And then after that, when he finally had to get up, there was a reporter that asked him about his upcoming trip. And he basically just said, no, I'm not going to talk about it. So I'm curious, does it feel like to you Joe Biden's upset about being forced to go to Hawaii? Does it come off that way to you, or is that just a me thing?
I think it does. I mean, this is the type of president who sees the devastation that's happening, the deadliest wildfire in over a century, and doesn't stop his vacation, doesn't end his vacation, takes a bike ride and refuses to stop when asked questions, goes to the beach, gives a no comment, and smirks. He smirked when he said no comment about the wildfire, and then to say no when asked about details of his trip. I mean, it's time and time again with this president. I mean, East Palestine is maybe the closest example that comes to mind when there's a massive tragedy and Joe Biden just did not show any empathy. And I think it's proving that his whole president empathy persona was completely made up. It's not based in any sort of fact. And we're seeing that time and time again.
And, if we get in the old hot tub time machine here, I'm old enough to remember when W was just raked over the coals for his lackluster response to Katrina and, flying over the areas, saying some things that rubbed people the wrong way. Joe Biden looks like he's bothered to have to go to Hawaii.
He really does. And the fact is that there's aid that's not coming to Hawaii quick enough. I mean, there's so many stories about lack of resources, lack of aid, a lack of a response that are really raising serious questions here. And Joe Biden is completely ignoring them. He has no empathy. He's not even taking a plane to fly over Hawaii. I mean, at this point, he went to the beach. He didn't even cut his vacation short. And now he refuses to give any sort of details about his trip. I mean, I think what's telling is that when he said no to that question and walked away, the press thanked him. They said, thank you, Mr. President. When he said that.
Here's the other thing. He might not know what he's saying. If he doesn't have a teleprompter there, if he doesn't have somebody in his ear whispering, telling him what to say, maybe the protocol is just to say no comment. Because if he doesn't have somebody writing it for him, if he doesn't have somebody saying it for him, then, maybe that's the new protocol for the president is no comment.
I mean, maybe so. I mean, I think based off of everything we've seen, that might be the case because he needs note cards to know where to sit, what pen to use, what cup to drink out of. I mean, like we've all seen these note cards that he needs. I mean, it's embarrassing, honestly. It's like the U in capital letters that are on these note cards that they're giving him. So maybe that's the case. I mean, but it also just, I think also with this whole situation there's just a fundamental human response to it. And Biden, I think, is showing that he really lacks any sort of empathy.
And, you know,
lacks empathy in the extreme.
We're kind of, laughing about this, but at the end of the day, we're not talking about somebody that runs the hardware store in your community. We're talking about the president of the United States, arguably the most powerful man, the most influential man in the free world. And this is embarrassing. And you're right. You're so right, Tommy. You brought this up earlier. The media seems to be fine with this. This is a guy that falls off his bike, falls up the stairs, calls people the wrong name, snaps at reporters, and nobody seems to give any sort of pushback. Every once in a while, you'll see it, more than you used to a couple years ago. But for the most part, I mean, they let this dude skate on it.
Yeah, and I think it's also the facts of this really sort of disturbing pattern are borne out by his terrible policies, by his lack of a response to a crisis like what happened in Hawaii, by his lack of response to what happened in East Palestine, by the policies that have been so incompetent again and again and again. The fact is that we see these examples of this president, which really embarrassing this country time and time again on the public stage when it comes to these visits with world leaders, when it comes to just traveling around the country, when it comes to him just doing everyday things at the White House or at the beach, embarrassing this country. But then you also see it borne out in the policy, in the lack of response to crises, in the terrible policies he implements, and the really haphazard response to things like the border crisis, Afghanistan. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So it is having those real consequences. You're right. It's not just someone at the hardware store. This is the president of the United States who is embarrassing this country, but then also implementing an administration that is just completely incompetent to the point that people are suffering because of it.
You mentioned Afghanistan. We're on with Tommy Pickett, RNC Rapid Response Director. You can find him on Twitter at RNC Research. It's a must follow. You posted a couple of days ago of Joe Biden yelling at the crowd, "Name me a single objective we've ever set out to accomplish that we've ever failed on. Name one." On the anniversary of one of the worst botched military missions ever in the history of this country. In Afghanistan, I mean, it's terrible, and it's embarrassing.
And it's insulting to the families as well. I mean, it's again, lacking empathy. We have a president who the State of the Union after the withdrawal did not mention the 13 U.S. service members that were killed in that State of the Union.
That's right. Wow.
Completely did not mention them. You have a president that has blocked answers to these families. We saw them gather in California recently, demanding answers. 2 years later, this administration is blocking that. And then he was asked in June, Biden was, about whether or not he had made any mistakes in this withdrawal. And he pounded the podium, literally, and smirked and said, "I was right." The smugness, the stubbornness, it was so insulting to all the Americans that saw the chaos, that saw the devastation, that saw this Vietnam-style evacuation from the embassy. And it's insulting to the veterans that served there, and it's insulting to people that lost their lives. I mean, this president has no empathy, no remorse, and honestly is showing that he's unfit to be commander-in-chief.
Tommy Pickett is our guest, RNC Rapid Response Director. And while we didn't get much of a reaction from Joe Biden when asked about the Hawaii disaster, we got a full-on speech doing a victory lap, if you will, Tommy, about Bidenomics. All week long. I don't know what they've been injecting into Joe, but he's got a little extra pep in his step trying to convince everybody that Bidenomics is some sort of magical way to make the economy better. But anybody that can do the slightest bit of research can see that this thing is a train wreck.
Well, Biden never has more energy than when he's telling a flat-out lie. I mean, that's when he's the most energetic. So, I mean, when he's going out there and saying Bidenomics is working. I mean, it's so absurd. It's so absurd. I mean, you have 80% of Americans saying the economy's on the wrong track. The majority of Americans saying that Biden's policies are hurting the economy. Prices up something like 17%. I mean, on measure after measure after measure, credit card debt at a record level, U.S. credit rating downgraded for the second time in U.S. history. I mean, this is an administration that has destroyed the finances, not only of the government in terms of their reckless spending, but of every single American family who is struggling to make ends meet because of those rising prices. I mean, you can tell that he's never been to a grocery store, or at least hasn't been in several years, or else he wouldn't be going out there screaming that Bidenomics is working.
Tommy, we got about 30 seconds left here. What do you want to see from the first debate this Wednesday? I know you can't really talk about the candidates per se, but what do you want to see as a whole at the end of the night?
Well, I think the great thing about being a Republican is that our policies work. And each one of these candidates have a really great story and a great vision to share with this country. So I'm looking forward to hearing that vision, hearing that story, and really hearing the alternative to these really disastrous years we've had under Joe Biden. Because the last thing this country needs is 4 more years of Joe Biden. And when we get a Republican president in there, we'll finally have some Republican common sense back in Washington, D.C.
Tommy Pigott, RNC Rapid Response Director. Check out some of his work on Twitter at RNC Research. Tommy, thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show. If you're looking for the best Cuban food in Indy, it's Palavana Cubano at the Garage Food Hall in the Bottle Works district. And I'm telling you right now, the best sandwich in Indy is the Cuban Reuben. Every time you bite into that sandwich, it's a flavor explosion.
Yeah, Hammer, I'll see your Cuban Reuben and raise you the best lobster roll in the state over there at Jay's Lobster and Fish Market, again in the Garage Food Hall, Bottle Works district. And I promise you'll probably get addicted to their lobster mac and cheese as well. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
We buy any car. Why sell your car at WeBuyAnyCar.com? Because selling it yourself can be, well, you know.
Okay, I'll give you half now.
And?
No, and just half.
What? Avoid the hassle. Come to We Buy Any Car instead. Get in, get out, and get paid at a fair price.
Yeah, I can't do half. I could probably bump it up to like 50%.
Just go.
Okay.
Get your free online valuation now at
WeBuyAnyCar.com. Hey, I'm Pastor Micah Beckwith.
And I'm Pastor Nathan Peternell.
Are you tired of a woke culture?
What do you mean by that, Micah?
Woke is defined as anti-American, pro-Marxist, ideological indoctrination.
Yeah, I don't want any of that.
Well, you know, at Life Church, we are the church where
woke goes to die.
So if you want a church that's going to preach the word of God boldly and unapologetically,
then you want to come to Life Church. We got 4 locations all around the city. Go to lifechurchin.com.
Hey, it's Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. You want the best price on Smith Brothers of Bern Furniture? We guarantee you we have the best price. Now through Monday is the factory authorized sale only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Over 1,000 fabrics, 100 leathers, lifetime warranty, interest-free financing, extra discounts for cash, free delivery. Smith Brothers is on sale only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
What is 988? It's a way forward. It's a listening ear. It's whatever help you need, when you need it. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline offers trained crisis specialists ready to talk to you 24/7. If you or someone you love is experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis in their life, call or text 988. Want more information? Visit 988indiana.org.
Tickets available now for WhamFest, a festival of wine, art, music, and microbrew featuring the Spin Doctors, Saturday, August 19th at Craig Park in Greenwood. Advance tickets at whamfest.com.
Design it before you buy it. For a limited time, receive 40% off all products, plus a free entry door, and 20 months, no interest, no payment.
Trust me. Georgia Street Tailgates, presented by Peterman Brothers. Saturday, 4 to 7 before the Colts-Bears game. Free entertainment on the Jack Daniels stage. Food and drinks, brought to you in part by Jack Daniels, Academy of Sports and Outdoors, New Belgium Brewing, and the Veterans Administration.
All right, Matt Bear, what are we looking at?
2 stops, stop and go traffic here coming eastbound at 70 right now. First one's before Harding over to West Street and the 2nd Meridian, Illinois into the South Split. We're keeping an eye on it. Inbound 65 loaded from 21st to the North Split. Also Thompson Road closed in Madison. That is a vehicle versus a train. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Design it before you buy it at bwindow.com. And now for a limited time, get 40% off all products, a free entry door, plus 20 months, no interest, no payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Sunshine 76 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
My name's Nigel. Hammer's over there. We have another special guest. guest on the drivehubler.com hotline.
Friday Night Lights. It's back tonight. First night of high school football around the state of Indiana. Let's get that tailgate forecast. Tara Hastings is a meteorologist for our news gathering partners, Wish TV 8. Tara, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Man, we couldn't ask for a better day today. It's just been fantastic.
And it's the weather. The weather's been amazing pretty much. We're getting some nice rain. It's nice and cool. So I'm assuming, the days of the 90, 95 degree weather, those are all gone. We're headed into fall here, right?
Oh, of course. Yes.
Really?
No, that is... No. Our Ryan Morris, one of our other meteorologists, put this thing on Facebook, and he had all this, and it said false fall and an arrow pointing at it. And I'm like, yep, this is pretty much it. False fall.
False fall.
False fall. So let's start with tonight. There's a lot of folks going out to opening night of high school football games. Indiana State Fair still going on. What kind of weather are we going to have tonight?
It is going to be gorgeous tonight. We're going to see, area of high pressure is in control. I like to say big bubble, no trouble, right? So clear skies.
Big bubbles have gotten me in trouble before, Tara. Let's just stop that right there. Big bubbles do indeed get you into trouble.
Well, apparently for you. But
oh, come on. Nobody knows Belle Biv DeVoe around here. I'm on an island. No. Nobody knows Belle Biv DeVoe.
I would
come
not
on,
have come
people.
up with that. I'm sorry.
Come on. Sorry, Tara. Go ahead.
It is going to be beautiful tonight. So we're going to be out tailgating. We're going to see light winds, lots of clear skies, low humidity. It's going to be dry. Temps will be in the 70s at kickoff, and by the end of the game, we'll see those temps in the upper 60s and lower 70s. So not bad at all.
All right, so that's good news. We'll take that. Now, tomorrow, it's the first preseason home game for the Colts.
Yeah.
There may be some folks going out to have some drinks, have some dinner, doing a little tailgating. What are we looking at for that?
Again, perfect. It'll be maybe a few degrees warmer than what we have today. But again, lots of sunshine. We're going to see pretty light winds. Temps will be up in the lower 80s, but right around normal for this time of year, so a seasonable Saturday. And I haven't heard yet. Early this morning, I was constantly updating Mr. Irsay's Twitter to see if the window and the roof is going to be open. I'm assuming it will probably be open because it's going to be so nice out there. So if you are heading downtown to the game, no weather concerns at all. Just bring along your sunglasses because it's going to be sunny for much of the day.
All I know is that my AC unit has been getting a well-deserved timeout the last couple of days.
Yes.
It's been great having the windows open, great sleeping weather. But now you're going to go full Debbie Downer and tell us what's ahead next week.
I know, right? So we get this weather pattern changing here. And the good news is we've had a lot of rain for the month of August. We're running about an inch surplus. So I don't have any rain in the forecast for the next 8 days. It is going to be dry. We're going to see this big ridge in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Basically, this means very little rain chance at all, and it's just going to heat things up. So, yeah, we're going to start temperatures warming up here about 90 degrees on Sunday, and then into the 90s for much of next week. And this could be some of the hottest air that we've seen all season long. Our max high temperature that we've seen so far is 91 this summer. And so we have the potential to get up to the lower 90s, talking about 93, 94 degrees. And, of course, with the heat also comes the humidity. We're in the Midwest, right? So it's going to feel more like around 100 across much of the state. Yeah.
I was very wrong. False fall.
Yes.
False fall.
We're going from a low of 57 to a high of 100 in just a span of 3 or 4 days here, right?
Yeah, it's going to feel like 100. So the actual air temperature will be in the lower 90s. But when you factor in the humidity, it's just going to feel very oppressive. So not the greatest time to be outside. So if you do have any yard work you need to get done, definitely try and do it on Saturday if you can. Because then the temps are just going to continue to skyrocket here heading into much of next week.
Tara Hastings, meteorologist, Wish TV, have you cracked your first beer for the afternoon here?
I have not yet. But you know what we got the other day from Upland Brewing? The IU...
the new IU beer. Yeah.
Yeah, we have
I saw you guys... Did you guys get a free shipment of that over there at Wish?
I wouldn't say a shipment. I would say a sample.
Yeah, the rest of the cans somehow magically ended up in the office of Marcus Bailey and Phil Sanchez, I think. That's how that works out over there.
That is correct. We were trying to be careful, like how many can we take? We're trying to be.
Oh, I would have loaded
sure
up.
everybody gets some. Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about that. Just take as many as you need. You worry about you, and whatever happens after that happens.
That's exactly right. I like that idea. Yeah,
so what's the weekend look like for Miss Tara Hastings here? I know you got your young ones. You got the kiddos in the background. You got mom duty going on. What's a crazy weekend for Tara Hastings look like?
Well, let me tell you something. Today or tomorrow, we're going to our first little kid birthday party that we've been invited to. So I'm kind of excited.
You're going to bring some of the IU beer with you?
The Hoosier Game Day Lager?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Inappropriate for it.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Is that inappropriate if you show up with libations to a kid's birthday party? Is that something frowned upon? Because I'm asking for a friend.
I would think if you know the person really well, I'm still getting to know this person. I don't think that's,
showing up with a sixer of Pabst Blue Ribbon would be a good idea if you're just getting to know the person.
That's the girl that's on TV. And wait, she's got a can of Schlitz. Wow, I did not expect that. All right, Tara, one more.
Speaking of Schlitz,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to say. Speaking of Schlitz, do you know that's the name of our dachshund? My husband named him Schlitz.
Solid move right there. Solid move. All right.
I won't tell you what my 2-year-old tries to call him.
Probably some mispronunciation.
Right. Okay, one more time. We got a beautiful night tonight, but when does the heat come back?
Sunday, we'll see a high of 90 and into the 90s much of next week.
Tara Hastings, meteorologist for WISH TV. Tara, we always love it when you join the program. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, you bet. Take care, guys.
Coming up next, Nigel, Indiana Task Force 1 on their way to Hawaii, and the Maui emergency chief defending not sounding the sirens in Hawaii. We'll hear a little bit more about that, and we will check in with America's fight against COVID-19. That's all coming up. It's a Beer Sample Friday here on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-646-7049 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-646-7049. That's 800-646-7049. What do you have to lose? Call 800-646-7049. Again, 800-646-7049.
All of your summer fun is in one place at this year's Indiana State Fair.
This is the final weekend of fair fun. Join us today for the Majestic Draft Horse Shows, take a step back in time in Pioneer Village, and take in a free concert by the legend Buddy Guy. Grab tickets at IndianaStateFair.com.
Join us for the summertime family tradition that you won't want to miss. Your Indiana State Fair, celebrating the state that grew the game. Presented by Pacer Sports and Entertainment. So much fun, you won't want to be done.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids, to work, to friends, and everything in between. You have to get sleep, and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep, so you learn to sleep better, night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. You want the best price in 2023? Now is the time during our inventory reduction sale. While supplies last, save big on all Bassett reclining furniture, all Pollywood and Berlin Gardens outdoor furniture, Maven bedroom and dining, plus Lazy Boy and all Smith Brothers leather furniture. In stock, while supplies last, biggest sale in 2023 only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Coming up in 2 minutes, a suspect was shot by police in Beech Grove this afternoon. John Herrick reports Indiana Task Force 1 has landed in Maui, and what was voted the top food at the state fair this year. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
History made at Camp David. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
This is a new era in partnership between Japan and the Republic of Korea and the United States. Our new Camp David Trilat.
President Biden just wrapping up a summit with the South Korean president and Japanese prime minister, saying it elevates their defense collaboration, including information sharing on North Korea's missile launches and cyber activity.
And critically, we've all committed to swiftly consult with each other in response to threats to any one of our countries from whatever source it occurs.
They'll set up a crisis hotline to coordinate responses. The United Front also aimed at countering threats from China, which criticized the meeting as forming cliques and increasing tensions. Taking questions, President Biden has declined to comment on the special counsel probe of his son Hunter, deferring to the Justice Department. The president also thanking Japan and South Korea for contributing $2 million each to wildfire relief on Maui. And he says FEMA is also ready to respond to rain and flooding in Southern California, where the first ever tropical storm watch has been issued because of Hurricane Hillary.
This is going to be a major storm for Southern California. You take it from San Diego all the way up into San Bernardino, that tropical storm watch, which is rare, never happened before. But then you look back to the cone. A Category 4 storm is not going to hit Southern California, but what's left of it is going to be extremely impactful.
Fox weather meteorologist Amy Freeze says widespread areas could get 3 to 5 inches of rain, pockets of up to a foot of rain, especially in the mountains. Hurricane Hillary expected to weaken after hitting Mexico's Baja California peninsula, right now less than 400 miles south-southwest of Cabo San Lucas. Flooding and wind damage in parts of southern New England after severe storms, spawning tornadoes in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. No immediate reports of injuries. Mixed finish on Wall Street. The Dow up 27 at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The state police are looking into it. Cloudy and 77 degrees on the circle. You've got nothing on your radar. Low temps fall to the mid-50s later. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. There was a shooting in Beech Grove this afternoon. State Police Sergeant John Perrine said it started with a chase when the suspect wouldn't pull over, and an officer fired their gun.
And the suspect has an injury consistent with a gunshot wound. The suspect is in stable condition.
Police did have body cameras. They were on. Investigators will take a look. Indiana Task Force 1 is landed in Maui. They're there to help with recovery from last week's wildfires. John Herrick reports on the challenges trips like these can cause.
That's the sound of them loading up Thursday night. Jay Settergren is the leader of the task force. He's been going on missions like this for more than 3 decades. Being away from his family is difficult, but he says they have help.
We do have a family support unit here that we use that will take care of any needs that would arise while we're gone. So the deployed member's family can call and they'll come and mow the lawn, or if they have a plumbing issue or whatever it is, even daycare will come and take care and help with that. The other families that stay back do that.
He says they could be gone about 2 weeks or longer, depending on how bad things are. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The average price you're paying for a gallon of gas in Indiana today, $3.90, says GasBuddy.com, at 7 cents above the national average. Education Secretary Katie Jenner says it's a crisis that's only getting worse. Ryan Hedrick explains.
Low reading test scores for 1 out of every 5 Hoosier third graders. That's what the iRead test has revealed. Jenner says immediate action needs to be taken before those students leave school and join the workforce. The state education department has given more than 200 elementary schools 4 years to get this thing right, and K through 12 schools have $1 billion in federal pandemic aid left to spend. Jenner says Indiana's third grading reading levels started dropping before COVID-19. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The votes are in and have been tallied. The favorite food at the Indiana State Fair this year was street corn pizza. If you weren't able to grab a slice, it's a white sauce pizza with a blend of mozzarella and Parmesan cheese, which is melted and buried in fire-roasted corn, chili lime seasoning, and cilantro. Buffalo pork and mac and the pepperoni pizza pretzel came in second and third. Traffic and weather's next. Your time is 4:04.
Your neighbor Edwin is a lot like you. She loves summers in Indy, but she hates to paint, so she called Rhino Shield.
So over the years, I've had to touch up the house. I just got to the point where I couldn't spend any more money on the outside of the house. And when I saw Rhino Shield, I thought that was the answer to my problem.
Rhino Shield specifically formulated for our climate. It's better than paint.
I'd had painters here before, and it was usually quite a disaster with them leaving their equipment here and picking up things in the yard. But Rhino Shield was right on it.
Right now, take advantage of Rhino Shield's summer savings. Get $1,000 off plus 0% interest for 18 months.
The gentleman said, if you're interested, give me a call. And I said, honestly, can you come tomorrow?
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The traffic on the 5s at 4:05. Here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, watch out for Thompson Road in Madison shut down right now because of an earlier incident with a vehicle in the train. Also, Emerson Avenue closed from Raymond to Subway. That is because of an investigation. We are looking at inbound 65 stop-and-go traffic before 21st to the north split. Delay continues down to Washington. Eastbound 70 stop and go into downtown from Holt Road over to Belmont. Keeping an eye on that at inbound 69 grinds from 106 down to 82nd. Traffic sponsored by Isaacs and Isaacs. Were you hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident? The insurance companies don't have the advantage of video proof that the Hammer may have. Call today or visit roadproof.wewin.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This afternoon and evening, we're tracking partly to mostly sunny skies across the entire state. Temperatures going from the 80-degree mark in the afternoon to about 55 overnight. So a cooler, calm, quiet evening coming our way. I'm Wish TV Storm Check 8 meteorologist Junior Arcides for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos? So let's
My name is Nigel. Hammer right over there. Proud of our guys from the Indiana Task Force 1. They are on their way to Hawaii to help with the wildfire devastation. The Maui emergency chief defending not sounding the sirens there in Hawaii in Lahaina during the fires, saying that the people are trained to think it's a tsunami and would have run inland towards the fire had he sounded those sirens. Here is Maui Emergency Management Agency Administrator Herman Andaya talking about it during a press conference.
The sirens, as I had mentioned earlier, is used primarily for tsunamis, and that's the reason why many of them are found, almost all of them are found, on the coastline. The public is trained to seek higher ground in the event that the siren is sounded. In fact, had we sounded the siren that night, we're afraid that people would have gone Malka. And if that was the case, then they would have gone into the fire.
Man, this sounds like something that is very unique to Hawaii. Right? Now,
when's the last time there's been a tsunami in Hawaii?
They get the warnings quite a bit. Whenever there's an earthquake, whether it's in Japan or somewhere else off the coast of California, they get those warnings.
Yeah, but like on the phone, don't they get those emergency alert systems messages? We know it works because they signaled that North Korea was bombing them a couple of years ago by mistake.
I forgot about that.
So we know the emergency response on the cell phone works. They could have sounded the sirens and sent out a message to the cell phone saying, "Hey, wildfires, seek shelter or whatever."
You have to do something. You can't just let the fire burn and just let people sleep.
It happened quick, man. From what I'm reading, it happened just like that.
Coming up little bit after 5 o'clock, Edward Graham is scheduled to join us.
Oh, yeah.
He's the grandson of the late, great Billy Graham. And he is like the Dos Equis guy. He's like the most interesting man in the world. Was a military badass.
An Army Ranger, yeah.
And now he's working with Samaritan's Purse.
Samaritan's
Purse, thank you. And he's over in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's an organization that is all over the world whenever there's a natural disaster, war, famine, whatever. This organization is there helping on the ground and helping people through ministry, through supplies, whatever, through shelter, everything. And yeah, I can't wait to talk to him and figure out exactly what's going on over there.
And some of the stories that you see on social media, you don't know what's real, you don't know what's not, because social media sometimes is not real. But just some of the awful stories of, it's almost like when a body is cremated and it's just down to the ashes, that's what they're afraid is the result of these 1,000 people that are missing. 1,000 people not accounted for in Hawaii. The death toll is 111.
And we did play that audio yesterday of that reporter peppering KJP with questions, the White House press secretary. Hey, look, I know you guys said you've sent supplies and FEMA's over there or whatever, but everybody we've talked to said they have not seen anything in terms of supplies or a government presence in Hawaii. I wonder what's the truth is, and we'll maybe ask Edward about that.
So that's coming up a little bit after 5 o'clock. Make sure you stick with us all throughout the afternoon. Right now, let's shift gears and check in with America's fight against COVID-19.
COVID-19, oh, I swear that I mean at this moment
there are 3 vaccines.
China piss off.
Allison, get the solo at the end.
We're all nervous.
Come on, give it to me right now.
Of COVID-19.
Yeah, there we go. First solo there for Allison. So remember when all that money was being passed out for COVID relief to like businesses designed to keep them afloat, right?
Yeah,
the idea was we're going to keep this mom and pop business, alive during COVID. We're going to financially support them with taxpayer money.
My dad got some for his event center that he owns. Yeah.
The problem with that is some major companies also got a ton of money that probably didn't need it. Like the Dallas Cowboys, the Los Angeles Lakers, the New York Yankees, all got big payouts for COVID relief. Well, now we're finding out that some individuals, in kind of a, I don't want to say loophole, but another way that payments were shipped out, famous music stars got real rich during this.
Before you get that, wasn't there some controversy with Tom Brady and his corporation too?
Yeah, TB12.
Yes. Got like a million, a 7-figure payment.
So famous musicians, very rich musicians, Post Malone, LeAnn Rimes, Chris Brown, and Nickelback all got multiple $1 million payments, some of them up to $10 million. This was from the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, which was designed as like this lifeline for live entertainment businesses, which were hurt by the lockdowns during the pandemic.
It's like $14.5 billion. Right?
So, for instance, let's say that theater down in Brown County, they obviously thrive on having live music there. And if they're locked down, it's hard for them to make a business.
Yeah, that's pretty difficult.
So this money was designed for things like that and artists that perform in some of these types of places. I don't know if it was designed for Chris Brown, Post Malone, and Nickelback.
Here's the only thing, and I know like Post Malone got like $10 million, Chris Brown got $10 million, Nickelback got $2 million.
Rapper Lil Wayne got $8.9 million.
I'm sorry, Post Malone got $3 million, but Post Malone's worth $45 million. Here's the thing. I think they had to pay, and I'm not defending this necessarily, but they have people that work for them. It's not just the artist. It's a corporation. Post Malone is just not a single guy. He's got managers and roadies and people, sound engineers. Security teams. So maybe that's $3 million is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But,
already a multimillionaire. Everybody we mentioned on that list is a multimillionaire times over. I'm looking at some of the numbers here. Post Malone has an estimated net worth of $45 million and is the owner of various luxury homes. He's got a $3 million compound in northern Utah, 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, just to name one. Now, we're picking on Post Malone, but Nickelback, say what you want about them, and a lot of people make jokes.
They rock.
But one of the most successful bands that tour out there, they've got a lot of money. Chris Brown, you might not like him. He's had some legal stuff in the past, but he's a hit machine when it comes to R&B music. He's a millionaire multi times over.
How in the world? What's he worth? $50 million?
Yeah.
How in the world is he still... I mean, he beat the crap out of Rihanna. You go back and look at those pictures of her. Sorry, I know we're getting a little off topic. I was just stunned that Chris Brown is worth $50 million and is still performing.
He didn't get canceled.
He's a woman beater.
Yeah. And Rihanna is an icon. Like, she played halftime of a Super Bowl. She's incredibly popular. This punk beat the hell out of her. And he didn't get canceled, and people still buy his music, and $50 million. But yeah, a lot of your tax dollars went into the wallets and purses of people like Chris Brown and Nickelback.
Lil Wayne.
I mean, again, we talked about this the other day. One day, somebody's going to write a big, long, storied book about the ridiculous things of COVID, and this is going to be a chapter.
Probably one of them.
Big Pharma got rich, but also so did a lot of existing millionaires. But Nigel, I know you're a Nickelback guy.
I do, yeah.
You've always fought back against the haters. This segment's dedicated to you. Great moments in Nickelback history. This is Nickelback doing a series of cover songs. Here's Nickelback doing Dirty Laundry.
Can we film the operation? It's the head idiots.
The Don Henley hits.
In the newsroom, gotta run in bet. Get the widow on the set. We need dirty lawmen.
What do you think?
I'm a half and a half on that one.
Not your favorite?
Not my favorite cover song I've heard.
Okay. How about this cover from Nickelback? The classic, iconic Queen hit, We Will Rock You.
I haven't heard this.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, play it in the street. Gonna be a big man someday. I got mud on your face, you big disgrace. Kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you.
Now, the other day, you told me you like the cover songs of Elvis better than the original version. If you look at me and tell me you like that better than Queen, I'm going to throw this beer bottle right at your head. Just telling you that right now.
I tell you what, I don't like it better than Queen, but I'm curious to hear the rest of it. I wanted to hear the guitar solo. I wanted to hear. That's the first time I've ever heard that. I did not know that was out there, and it didn't sound bad. I like it much better than Dirty Laundry.
How about The Devil Went Down to Georgia?
Well, the devil bowed his head because he knew that he'd been beat. And he laid that gold guitar down on the ground at Johnny's feet. And Johnny said, devil, just come on back if you ever want to try again. I done told you once, you son of a... I'm the best that's ever been.
Well, here comes the white man overbite from Nige. Here it is. Any of those do anything for you?
Out of those three, I think I like We Will Rock You the best. I mean, The Devil Went Down to Georgia, you got to do the fiddle, right?
Right.
It's got to be the fiddle.
It can't be anything
like
hard, electric. It's got to be a fiddle. If the whole damn song is about a hillbilly beating the devil at a fiddle contest, right? If you don't give me the actual fiddle, the whole song is for naught.
Hey, can I ask you guys a question? Matt Bear, and you're in on this, Matt Bear. In your segment earlier today, the topics were written down. First Colts game with the no red light. Task Force 1 we talked about. And then there was a third topic we didn't get to, and I'm just curious. All it says is colonoscopies.
Yeah.
Did we... Where was that? What direction was that going in?
I haven't had one yet, but I believe Hammer is scheduling one and getting ready to get his colon blown, if I'm correct about that.
That is correct. On Halloween.
Interesting
Halloween's
way
the
you
date.
put that.
I was trying to talk Matt into getting his schedule too, and we could go in there together and hold hands at the same time.
Right. Yeah, I want a friend there. I really do. I want somebody I know. I mean, I've never had this stuff.
You got a friend in me. Oh, hey!
Are you holding my hand right now?
Moon River. Why are both of your hands on my shoulders, Doctor?
I mean, I just thought we'd have a little string quartet in the corner. It'd be a good time. Eastbound 70, stop and go right now. Tibbs Avenue, too. What is that? West Street, looking at northbound 37 on the south side. Grinds from Epler Avenue up to 465, and we're down to one lane in each direction. Crash at 34th and Keystone Avenue. Thompson Road closed at Madison Avenue because of an incident with a vehicle and a train. Traffic sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers, and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Ooh, you ever do time, Doc? 76 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Is this anything? Next.
That's here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg, your premier gun store. Over 1,200 firearms in stock and the largest selection of used firearms in the area. Premier Arms is home of the Buy Room. This exclusive, private, and secure room is where Premier Arms will buy your estate or special collection of firearms and jewelry. Premier Arms and PA Jewelers, their one-of-a-kind jewelry store located in the same building, are the largest buyers of firearms, firearm collections, and estate jewelry in the Midwest. Talk to Premier Arms today. 3754 South Green Street. Online at premierarms.com.
Go to the Hammer Nigel Facebook page. You should check out these before and after photos of my sidewalk and front porch. They were absolutely falling apart. It's an old house, and it was the original sidewalk and porch. I needed it completely replaced. Indie Decorative Concrete. Wow, they did a killer job. Completely took out my old stuff, put in brand new stamped sidewalk, custom porch, and they built a patio where a bunch of mulch used to be. I got a ton more space now, and I love Indie Decorative Concrete. The owners, Mark and Jamie, are awesome. They run a great custom concrete business. They're great people. Mark, he came out to my house and gave me they gave us a few different ideas, and then we went to their showroom, and Jamie helped us pick out the stamp pattern that we like best. Everyone that works for them is a W-2 employee. No subcontractors coming to your house. So if you're in the market, whether it's a new patio, sidewalk, porch, whatever, don't do anything until you've checked out IndieDecorativeConcrete.com and tell them Nigel sent you.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
The Hoosier Hardwood Festival is back August 25th through 27th at the Boone County Fairgrounds in Lebanon. Experience lumberjacks competing in speed cutting, axe throwing, and the perilous boom run. Marvel as over 20 of America's finest chainsaw carving artists turn logs into masterpieces. Meet the world-renowned Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel. There's fun for all ages with live music, a petting zoo, kids zone, rock walls, and bounce houses. It's going down. Timber! August 25th through 27th in Lebanon. Discounts and details at HoosierHardwoodFestival.com.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, fun in the sun goes way beyond the white sand beaches. Let's rock out at a waterfront concert at the Sound. Let's marvel at masterpieces of the Chihuly collection and make some flippered friends at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Let's pedal the 75-mile Pinellas Trail and stop at Florida's oldest microbrewery along the way. This fall, let's go for all the sun and none of the crowds. Let's shine. Plan your getaway at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
This Summer of Fun is brought to you by Citizens Energy Group, reminding listeners to water their lawn only twice a week. Get more info at citizensenergygroup.com/waterwise. That's citizensenergygroup.com/waterwise.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Yeah, Hammer, how do we play? Is this anything?
I will run some stories by you. You break down all the information and you give us a verdict. Is the story anything or not?
Okay.
A California woman found a man living under her house who she claims has been living there for months.
Wow.
Here's the video that Ashley made as officers finally got him off and out of underneath of the property.
So it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and we woke up because we heard noise. Oh, here comes the police. Came outside, I thought somebody was on a roof, and I see the grass moving, and is feeling around, a dirty ass arms feeling around this hole outside. There is a whole man living here for months, living underneath the house. Imagine being half awake and seeing an arm, a dirty arm.
Wow, yeah, that's something. That is creepy. Well, I mean, is he living in the crawl space? Is that what this guy was doing?
I mean, people find a way to live in some crazy places. If you go out to Vegas, there's a whole community of these folks that live in like the drainage stuff, like underneath the city.
You're kidding.
Oh, no. You can find some amazing videos on YouTube. Like the local police there, like not that you would ever want to, they tell you, please do not go like under these areas for whatever reason, because it's pretty dangerous down there.
Man,
and they can't guarantee your safety if you go investigate.
Straight out of Batman.
It is.
Yeah, these squatters, man. I saw another story recently, and I know we had is this anything about a squatter that this guy moves in with squatters to get him out of the house.
Right.
That's his job, is to move in and annoy the squatters.
He's like a pest.
So this story, and I just read another story about how this guy in Atlanta rents out his house. The tenants moved out. The next day, somebody broke in and moved in, and he found out about it and showed up, and the cops arrested him, the owner, because the squatters that broke in had like fake paperwork and documents, and the guy was detained. And then it takes them months to fill out paperwork to get the squatters evicted. It's not so simple. Like, they don't just kick them out. They can't. I don't know what the rules are. I don't understand it. Maybe we get Ethan Hatcher in to talk about this from Saturday Nights on the Circle, and he fills in occasionally, but he does. He rents out houses and
right.
So that's scary though. Just a dirty hand reaching out from under your house. That would creep me out for sure.
I don't want to see like rodents or raccoons or anything like that, let alone some bum's hand coming out of there. Good Lord. Is this anything? Some woman on social media asked teenagers in Beverly Hills, what does the average American make in terms of salary? Listen to their answers.
How much do you think the average American makes a year?
Maybe like 400K.
How much do you think the average American makes a year?
I don't know, maybe like $500,000.
How much do you think that the average American makes a year?
90 to 100K.
How much do you think the average American makes a year?
200,000? 250,000?
And every one of these idiots from Beverly Hills, they don't make a dime. It's their parents.
Right.
They don't make anything.
Their
they don't do
plastic
anything.
surgeon,
Yeah.
doctor, dad.
Right.
Lawyer,
that
mom.
guy goes $500,000. The average American makes $500,000. By the way, I think it's $54,000 a year is the average worker bringing home $54,000 a year.
We had the story earlier in the show. 62% of Americans say they live paycheck to paycheck. 62%.
How out of touch those teenagers in Beverly Hills are.
Last one here. Is this anything? A police officer in Long Island stopped a person pointing a gun at people on the street by running them over with his police vehicle.
Yeah, I saw this.
Here's an eyewitness and the police commissioner talking about the incident.
She points the gun at me, so I kept going. Then I made a U-turn because I was test driving a vehicle, and when I came back, she points the gun again. So I stopped, made the 911 call.
I asked him at the hospital why. He said, because if I fired and I missed, there were people standing behind him. That officer made a sound decision, a very good decision. Because of that decision, probably saved the lives of not others, but himself and the individual with that gun.
Yeah, the cop's a hero, totally. Have you seen the footage that I'm talking about? That we're talking about here, Hammer?
I have not.
I just retweeted it at Hammer Nigel. This chick is walking across an intersection in Long Island, firing gun, pointing guns. She's at a giant intersection, cars everywhere. Then she points the gun at her head, and then you see the cop car come flying in and sideswipes her. Absolutely just sideswipes her.
Wow.
Saving the lives of the pedestrians and motorists around there, and pretty much probably saved her life too, ironically enough, by hitting her as hard as he did with the car.
Remember when Pat McAfee laid out the Broncos punt returner, trying to return that kick?
Yes.
I mean, McAfee just smoked him. That's what that was like, watching that police car hit this lunatic woman.
Look at it, at Hammer and Nigel right now. It's crazy.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hey, if you're ready to pull the trigger on a lazy boy, or maybe a new mattress like a Tempur-Pedic, or maybe you need some new furniture for the house, don't do anything until you've made the quick trip down to Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Right now, they have got some killer discounts on the in-demand, hard-to-get, Indiana-made Smith Brothers furniture. It's literally their biggest offer in 3 years. It's made in Indiana, best quality, lifetime warranty, and free delivery.
And listen, you got options in the furniture game, I know it, but Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus, they support what we do here on the Hammer and Nigel Show. So support these guys. Make this the place you go to get that Tempur-Pedic mattress, to get the new love seat. Owned and operated by the same family since 1927. Thompson Furniture and Mattress, free delivery if you live within 75 miles of their store. ThompsonFurniture.net. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Take a little trip this summer in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Indiana has over 20 state parks, so camp, swim, or just enjoy the best scenery the country has to offer. We want you to see it all. That's why every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Shop any of Hubler's 12 locations or visit drivehubler.com and choose from over 1,000 vehicles. Chevy, Ford, GMC, Buick, Nissan, Acura, Mazda, Honda, and many more. All makes, all models, certified vehicles, luxury vehicles, even the hard-to-find ones. Plus, every Hubler Q-certified vehicle includes a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report. Take a little trip this summer because Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. So what drives Indiana? DriveHubler.com. For over 1,000 vehicles, visit any of our 12 locations. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A suspect was shot. 78 degrees, mostly sunny on Monument Circle. Nothing on your radar. Low temps drop to the mid-50s later. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:31. Beech Grove police shot a suspect earlier today after a police chase. State Police Sergeant John Perrine says the suspect did not go quietly.
The suspect vehicle allegedly rammed at least one of the police vehicles during the pursuit.
And the suspect is in stable condition, says Perrine. No officers were hurt. President Joe Biden is welcoming South Korea's president and Japan's prime minister to Camp David today.
We begin this new era of cooperation and renew our resolve to serve as a force of good across the Indo-Pacific and, quite frankly, around the world as well.
Biden is calling the trilateral summit the beginning of a better future. Their meeting is seen as an effort to counter China's increasing military aggression in the Indo-Pacific. Republican presidential candidate Chris Christie is trying to earn votes in South Florida.
People are going to start to focus on the race, and when they do, I think we're going to do just fine. And the numbers in New Hampshire show you that that's where I've spent the most time, and I've gone from 0 to second place in 2.5 months.
Speaking at a meet and greet at a cafe today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will be in New Hampshire tonight for a fundraising dinner. The first GOP primary debate is next Wednesday. WIBC's coverage will start at 7 in the evening. She had big dreams, but they were cut short. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Teresa Hawkins went to Ball State on a full-ride scholarship. 30 years ago, while she was on call, her squad car was struck by a drunk driver. It pushed her into a house. Her brother says she later died at the hospital.
We go to Wishart and all the police cars out front. I didn't know what was going on yet. And then I find out it's my sister. Been in a major accident, killed in the line of duty.
On Thursday, Teresa Hawkins was honored at the IMPD Northern District during roll call. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Your stock report to close the week. The Dow finishing up 25 points to 34,500. The NASDAQ down by 26, falling to 13,290. And the S&P 500 down by just under a point to 4,369. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:34.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for Zerorez. And how about tackling those ugly summer stains on those carpets? More than that, your carpets are the largest air filter in your home and can hold 4 times their weight in dirt. Where do you think everybody sneezes, wipes their shoes, and drops food? That's right, your carpets. And the kids are headed back to school, and the germ pool there means even more sniffles and sneezes. It really is a great time to clean the carpets, and it's quick and easy to schedule them online by phone. Nobody but Zerorez has the patented electrolyzed ZR water that cleans with no soap, no harsh chemicals, and no residue to attract more dirt. They can even clean your ductwork to help you breathe easier. Duct cleaning improves the air quality in your home as well as the efficiency of your HVAC equipment and reducing energy costs. Call Zerorez today and mention WIBC. You'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $139, and they'll give you a free hallway and $50 off air duct cleaning too. For a smarter, lasting clean and really easy scheduling, call 388-5141 or visit ZerorezIndy.com.
With traffic at 4:35, what's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison, we are looking at inbound 69. We have stopped traffic at 106, 296, and then a grind down into 82nd Street for downtown. Southbound 65, stop and go 21st to the north. Split delay continues to Ohio Street. Eastbound 70, stop and go traffic from Tibbs Avenue to the south. Split delayed up to Washington. Northbound 465 in Lawrence, stop and go from 70 up to Penn Pike. And Thompson Road still shut down at Madison Avenue because of an incident involving a vehicle and a train. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Design it before you buy it at bwindow.com. And now for a limited time, get 40% off all products, a free entry door, plus 20 months, no interest, no payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This afternoon and evening, we're tracking partly to mostly sunny skies across the entire state. Temperatures going from the 80-degree mark in the afternoon to about 55 overnight. So a cooler, calm, quiet evening coming our way. I'm Wish TV Storm Check 8 meteorologist Junard Sudas for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Yeah. What up? This is Dr. Dre. The party's going on. Thank God it's Friday.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Rumors are swirling. Donald Trump will not be at the debate next week. Right now, just unconfirmed sources are saying he's doing something with Tucker, but we don't know for sure.
So 2 guys that have an axe to grind against Fox, Trump and Tucker, going head-to-head to try to steal some of the ratings away from Fox. Who has the debate. Political theater. Here we go.
But he keeps going. But Trump just went on Fox with Kudlow, right?
Well, Kudlow's his guy. He went on Fox Business. But Donald Trump does not like Brett Baer, does not like Martha McCallum, certainly does not like Neil Cavuto, but he's not alone in that category. So this is going to be interesting if it's true. And again, I don't think anybody would be surprised if, like at the very last minute, you know, all the candidates are out there on the stage. All of a sudden, the Stone Cold Steve Austin music hits. You hear the glass breaking, and here comes Donald Trump walking out. By God, that's Donald Trump's music.
Doing the billionaire strut.
Right.
Brushes up against DeSantis.
Kind of gives him a little shoulder bump, shoulder nudge. That could totally happen. But right now, it sounds like, if these sources are correct, Trump and Tucker doing something at the same time of the debate. Now, all of us here at 93 WIBC, Tony, Rob, Casey, you and I, Nige, we had planned on live tweeting the debate and retweeting each other and sharing and making it, a full-on experience for those that follow us on social media. So in light of this announcement, are you going to be the one, Nige, as the Tucker fanboy that watches that event and puts tweets out in real time for that?
Sure, I'll do that. I don't know, just because it's more of a conversation than anything. I don't know how exciting a live tweet would be just with a conversation between two people. I don't know. I'll try it. Yeah, certainly I'll try it.
Maybe if you tweet out videos of you in Donald Trump's voice. He just said hydroxychloroquine.
I will recommend, Tucker just did an interview. It dropped yesterday of Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, we'll get to that here in just a second.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd recommend that to anybody. That was an amazing conversation. Good.
I love how Nigel reads none of the preparation that I sent to him.
No, I read it.
It's sitting right there on the rundown sheet. Like
Were
at the
you
very
saving
end.
it for a surprise or something? I was just saying it was a good...
Well, I know it's kind of the flow of the way things work here. A good segue into it. But, we'll get to that in a minute. Are you into polls at all? Do any of these state polls?
Brass polls.
Well, Britney Spears is into those right now, too, it looks like, based on her Instagram. But these state polls, national polls, they're all worthless. But some of these state polls, Iowa, South Carolina, New Hampshire, any of these early primary states do anything for you?
I mean, those are the important ones, of course. Yeah, and they all have Trump up. Huge.
So this new one from the Trafalgar Group, which leans pretty conservative, but this is just for the GOP primary, New Hampshire poll has Donald Trump at 50%.
Yeah.
DeSantis is at 11%, and then Ramaswamy jumping up to 10%. So in essence, it's a dead heat between DeSantis and Ramaswamy for second. If I would have told you that, a couple months back when everybody was talking about Ron DeSantis getting in the race, can he challenge Donald Trump? People would have laughed at you.
I think so.
But now the DeSantis campaign seems like it's in disarray, and the Ramaswamy campaign seems like it's on an upward trajectory. Now, this story from the New York Times about the DeSantis leak, about what their plans are for the debate, seems to be kind of interesting. Now, you remember DeSantis fired a lot of his campaign staffers.
Oh, he cleaned house, yeah.
A couple weeks back. So this seems like this is a whole new strategy. New York Times article today claims they've got a leak from the DeSantis camp that their debate strategy will be defend Donald Trump and just go after and hammer Vivek Ramaswamy.
Okay. Well, they probably should have thought of that at the beginning of the campaign. I mean, if you remember, before even DeSantis announced that he was running, he was making snide, smart-ass comments about Donald Trump after he got indicted in New York about hush money payments to porn stars.
Right. Now, Trump was ripping him at that point, but DeSantis just couldn't help himself to clap back, which it seems like anybody that does that claps back against the orange man, you can't do it as good as he does, and it hurts you. Remember, there was in the last 2016 primary when folks were trying to go after Donald Trump. It didn't work out. Marco Rubio tried to rip him.
It was pathetic.
Right. And DeSantis didn't make a dent either, man. So
I would love to see what Ron DeSantis is going to say about Vivek in terms of taking his sledgehammer to him.
Right.
Like, what's he going to, besides inexperience, DeSantis is definitely more qualified for the job. Vivek has some great ideas, great policy ideas.
Are they going to beat him up over being a flip-flopper? Because he has changed his thoughts on things as the campaign has gone on. Now, originally, Vivek was all about everybody get the vaccine, pushing the vaccines. He's not that way anymore. So I wonder if that's the kind of thing that the DeSantis camp
maybe
is going to beat him up on. Now, you mentioned this earlier. Vivek sat down with Tucker Carlson, and this was a long chat. This is like a 45-minute conversation, and the topic was, can the American public handle the truth, the actual truth handed down to them?
I think that there's a bipartisan consensus in this country right now that we, the people, we can't handle the truth. Yeah. It's like Jack Nicholson at the end of the movie, right? Yes. You can't handle the truth. You need me on that wall. My basic view in this campaign is no, we don't need you on that wall. And yes, we can handle the truth. COVID-19, what was the origin? What did we know about the vaccines before we mandated them? What did we know about Hunter Biden's dealings before we systematically suppressed that story? What do we know about the truth of what happened on January 6th? What do we know about that Nashville shooter manifestor, the transgender individual who shot up a bunch of people in a Christian school? I'd rather lose some election than to play some political snakes and ladders of what we're supposed to say. And I think that that's really one of the questions at issue today, as it was in 1776. Do we believe that the public can be trusted with the truth? Whatever the truth is, just give me the hard truth.
Yeah, we're big boys. We can handle it. I'm so sick and tired of being lied to by these people.
I know the government's always going to lie to us, but come close to the truth. Trust us a little bit, because when it came to COVID especially, they lied out their teeth to everybody. How much science was really involved there? Because now we're finding out that whole 6 feet apart thing was just a made up number. I mean,
one person, somebody wanted 12 feet, somebody else wanted 3 feet. You know what? Let's go right down. We'll give you 6 feet. 6 feet. Can everybody compromise on 6 feet apart? Yeah, that's 6 feet's fine.
And then they would trot Dr. Fauci up there, and if you had any questions, he'd look at you and go, I am the science.
And if you question me, you question the science.
Here's a little bit more of that Ramaswamy interview with Tucker.
I have a friend of mine, her father died recently. She talked about actually her experience of her father having heart attacks even when she was a kid. He went on to live as far as he did. But she said the one thing she just wanted from the doctors, from her dad, et cetera, is, she's 12 years old at the time. I can handle the truth. Just tell me, is my dad going to die? Is my dad likely to die before he goes in for the next procedure? Don't just tell me he's going to live because you think that's what I need to hear. Just tell me the truth and I can handle the truth. I think most of us are this way. I think we as free human beings, what makes us human beings and not animals is the belief that we can believe in something bigger than ourselves and that we can handle the truth from those who are in power. And I think that's the moment we live in today. It was the moment of the American Revolution that we, the people, can be trusted. And I think we now live in a moment where the government, and not just the government, but a broader establishment in our country, believes that citizens of this nation cannot be trusted with the truth.
Yeah, I'd say Vivek Ramaswamy. I understand why people like him. I like him. I would vote for him. I don't know who I'm going to vote for yet in the GOP primary, whether it be Vivek or DeSantis or Trump. But I can definitely understand why he's nipping at DeSantis' heels. But he does seem he understands that to beat Trump, you've got to be nice to Trump. Right. You've got to be in Trump's corner.
You got to win over the MAGA crowd.
Somebody just tweeted us, and going back to Trump here, this is hilarious. This is such a good idea. At Hammer Nigel, I'd love to see Trump and Tucker do live commentary of the debate.
Oh, that would be so good. How good would that be?
Like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of thing.
Right.
Where it's just like a silhouette of Tucker and Trump watching the debate on a big screen. And they make smart-ass comments the entire time.
Tucker's laughing in that high-pitched voice anytime Mike Pence says something. Oh, please make this happen. I don't want an interview. I want them watching the debate and reacting to it.
Such a good idea.
Thank you, JDS, on Twitter. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hey, Casey, what's 12 times 3?
It's 36.
You're so good. Follow-up question. How would you like to get a 36% bonus when you invest your money? So, if you invest $100,000, you get a $36,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $72,000 bonus.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Not only can you get a 36% bonus, you also get a competitive return, an average of 7% a year for the past 10 years. Plus, your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy, at 317-932-9912.
This 36% bonus won't last long, so call 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912. Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
My man Mark Dietel, real estate guru. There's no one else on earth I'd trust to sell my house or to buy another one than Mark Dietel. Listen to what Rich and Cindy in Greenwood had to say. It was time to move into a place that could give us a little daily help. We hired the Mark Dietel team, and they closed on our old place in 1 week with a cash offer. The whole process was easy and professional, and we came away with the money we needed for our next phase in life.
You got a lot of options in the real estate game, but Mark Dietel is the only real estate expert we trust and recommend with the sale of our homes here at the Hammer and Nigel Show. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Pick your move date, no long-term contracts, and you can cancel anytime. MarkDietel.com. That's DIETEL, MarkDietel.com, or call 755-4232. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Design it before you buy it. For a limited time, receive 40% off all products, plus a free entry door, and 20 months, no interest, no payment.
Trust me. The latest local news, commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey,
5.6%
Hammer and Nigel,
Biden.
Podcasts. Listen to the station live, whenever, wherever, online at WIBC.com.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
All right, Hammer, Lebanon, crash. Northbound 65 at State Road 39. It has 3 left lanes blocked. A delay is miserable back to 267. Put in our time. 66 minutes from the back of the line. Lebanon's already a mess. State Road 32 at South Street as people are rerouting. Looking at eastbound 70, stop and go before Harding over into the south split, and inbound 65, stop and go before west. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Design it before you buy it at bwindow.com. And now for a limited time, get 40% off all products, a free entry door, plus 20 months, no interest, no payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Beautiful day, sunshine, 77 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hey, my name is Nigel. Hammer's here. Let's travel back in time a couple of years to the 2020 election. Before that happened, Joe Biden was doing an interview with a black radio host, Charlemagne the God, and ended the interview by saying this.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Good Lord.
It's an awfully just racist, insulting thing to say to members of the black community. You know,
so like Kanye West, Ice Cube, those are white guys, according to Joe Biden, because they didn't get his vote.
Well, you remember Larry Elder's running for president, and he was dubbed the black face of white supremacy when the recall was going on in California.
Most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
So Larry Elder, and I don't think he has enough. He didn't have enough qualifications on this debate stage next week, does he? But Larry Elder remembered that moment, and Charlemagne interviewed Larry Elder, brought up the topic of being black, and Elder really just fired back. This is a dressing down of this guy, Charlemagne the God. Listen as Charlemagne starts the conversation, and then Elder fires back.
Have you ever heard of the term nigga wake-up call? No. It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded rather brutally by an unexpected act of racism. Have you ever had any of those?
Oh, brother.
I'm just asking.
That's Charlemagne.
You think you've ever
Well,
had
I'm acutely aware, Charlemagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump, it seems to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part. How dare this guy come in here and insult you, a black man, and tell you you got to think a certain kind of way? I'm amazed that you weren't mad about that.
I'm not going to say it upset me, just like I'm not letting you upset me. You know what I mean? I don't tend to get upset over things like that. But what I did say...
Well, you just not talk about a wake-up call, and it seemed to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part, to have a white guy come in here who also said, by the way, about Mitt Romney, because he didn't want to put more regulations on Wall Street, going to put y'all back in chains. And Joe Biden had lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. He lied and said that he tried to visit Nelson Mandela during apartheid South Africa. He did not. And he came in here and told you aren't even black and let you think a certain kind of way. It seemed to me that should have been a wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently.
Wow. Larry Elder bringing the heat, bringing the facts, and putting it right in the face of Charlemagne the God.
Oh, my God.
Now, Charlemagne...
Wow, a couple of N-words in there, too.
I mean, Charlemagne started this.
Yeah.
Let's hear a little bit more.
I mean, for the record, I'm not a Democrat or Republican.
I didn't say you were.
I think both.
I don't know what you are. I never even asked you about your party affiliation. I'm just saying, but you are black. And to have a white guy come in here and tell you have to say think a certain kind of way, otherwise you, quote, ain't black. Wow.
How should I have replied to him, you think?
What I just now said, how dare you insult me and tell me I think as a human being, let alone as a black person? I don't tell you how to think, Joe Biden. How dare you come in here and tell me how I should think? I'm going to vote for Donald Trump if I want to vote for Donald Trump. And if I want to vote for Donald Trump, it does not make me not black. 20% of black people, black men, as I said, voted for Donald Trump in 2020. Are they not black now? So only 80% of black people, black men walking around are really black, 20% are not because they voted for Donald Trump. How insulting is that? How condescending is that?
I mean, you're probably right, but I didn't take it in that way.
Well, I did.
As I said to him in that moment, it's just about me wanting something for my people, and I want to know what is he going to do for my people, and not only for my people now, how are you going to atone for the things you've done to my people?
Right.
I mean,
this is embarrassing.
It is on his own show. Charlemagne's a very successful, nationally syndicated radio host. Does some TV work, I think, with like Comedy Central, sometimes the E! Network, and he was just getting depantsed on his own show by Larry Elder.
And this is a guy, Joe Biden, who, when he first got into the Senate, hung out with segregationists, talked about how well he got along with them, talked about how he didn't want integration because of a jungle. This guy has made all sorts of insulting things to black people, and his policies right now are hurting black people. Inflation hurts the people at the bottom more than anything else. Letting a bunch of illegal aliens into the border are hurting black people more than anybody else, as I said earlier. He's opposed to school choice when he has his own kids in private school, and we lost a year, almost 2 years of in-school education in California because of COVID that he supported. I mean, this guy has done monstrous things to black people, and then for him to come in here and tell you how you ought to think as a black person, that blew my mind.
Keep on reminding him of that every day because Charlemagne didn't do squat. I wasn't offended by that.
I believe it was Smokey from the movie Friday who said, and I quote, "You got knocked the bleep out." Larry Elder brought the facts, brought the truth. That was amazing. We have a Colts preseason game tomorrow. Only degenerates bet on preseason. And I'm a degenerate. Allison, cue up the band.
It's time for Hammer's Degenerate Special.
We are going to bet on preseason football. Don't judge me. Colts and Bears. Now we know the Bears are not playing their stars. No Justin Fields, no DJ Moore. These are the quarterbacks the Bears are playing. PJ Walker, Nathan Peterman, and Tyson Bagent. Who? These guys?
They are nothing but losers.
Thank you. Nathan Peterman is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. He's actually had a few regular season snaps, and every time the lights get bright, he craps his pants.
No, get those lights off. Off. Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off.
Turn those lights off. We are going to go to FanDuel, and they have the Colts by 1 or 13 points. So you can get a 13-point spread here, and it's plus money, plus 145. $25 bet, pays out $61. Bet the Colts by either 1 or 13 points, and we're going to Sizzler.
Go with Sizzler. We go with Sizzler.
Find me a Sizzler, and I'll meet you there. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
I have a friend who just moved to St. Louis. Huge career switch. But she's still paying mortgage here in town, just killing her financially. She used the traditional home selling process as something like an agent that had been in the family forever, and what a nightmare this has been. Matt Bear here. Hey, it makes me know that I'm using Open Door and the Open Door app because they let me skip all the hassles that come with buying and selling your home. You pick the closing date, so no double mortgages. You're in control from the very beginning in the process. Man, it's so streamlined. You could request an offer from anywhere on any device, even sell your house and buy your next house all in one move. I mean, there isn't always a perfect time to move. Open Door can help any time be a perfect time. Take control of your move when you start with Open Door. Visit opendoor.com or download the Open Door app to get started. That's opendoor.com or download the Open Door app. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage Incorporated, license 020611130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage LLC and its other markets. Terms and conditions apply.
Stop right now and ask yourself, what is most important to you? Hey, this is Casey Weed at Howard Bailey Financial, the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. We believe in developing retirement plans driven by what is most important to you, your purpose. Then we can build what we call your financial life plan, made up of 4 main pillars: liquidity for emergencies, income to last a lifetime, flexibility to adapt, estate planning to maximize your legacy, and finally, tax planning to maximize what you can spend and pass on. To learn more about saving on your taxes, get your free digital tax guide. Just call or text TAX42 to 866-482-9559. That's TAX42 to 866-482-9559.
Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Hey Hoosiers, it's your Congressman Greg Pence. Let's get straight to the point. Joe Biden's policies are not working for the average Hoosier. Inflation is absolutely still out of control. I'm putting Hoosier values first. Promoting energy independence, opposing woke policies, and fighting for our families is my focus. To learn more about my efforts, go to pence.house.gov.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids, to work, to friends, and everything in between. You have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep, so you learn to sleep better, night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed, plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday.
Coming up in 2 minutes, a police shooting in Beech Grove and Indiana Task Force 1 in Maui. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
The White House calls it a new era. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden holding a first-of-its-kind summit at Camp David with the Japanese and South Korean leaders aimed at elevating their partnership and defense collaboration.
We'll have a hotline to share information and coordinate our responses whenever there is a crisis in the region or affecting any one of our countries.
A strengthening partnership aimed in part at sending a message to China and North Korea, though President Biden says today's summit wasn't about China. Southern California could get a year's worth of rain from Hurricane Hillary, currently heading for Mexico's Baja California Peninsula.
The big question is, as it navigates up through this small channel, what will the impacts be like for Southern California?
Fox weather meteorologist Steve Bender.
Tropical storm watches are issued for the first time ever for Southern California. That includes San Diego and the Inland Empire. We'll talk about like Palm Springs and Coachella. Rain starts as early as tomorrow, but truly peaks Sunday into Monday. Widespread flash flooding. That is the greatest danger.
Hillary right now about 325 miles south-southwest of Cabo San Lucas, already weakening down to 130 mile-per-hour winds. California hasn't been hit by a tropical storm since 1939. Hundreds of people remain missing on Maui, where wildfires have killed at least 111. Crews have now searched about 60% of the fire zone in Lahaina. A British nurse is found guilty of murdering 7 babies and trying to kill 6 more.
Lucy Letby was a neonatal nurse at the Countess of Chester Hospital in northwestern England. Prosecutors say the murders and attempted murders were in 2015 and 2016. The first, a one-day-old baby boy killed by injecting air into his bloodstream. The others harmed in various ways, including adding insulin to IV lines and interfering with breathing tubes.
Fox's Chris Foster. The defense argued doctors blamed Letby to cover up problems in the neonatal ward. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They're looking into what happened. 78 degrees, mostly sunny with a few clouds hanging over the monuments. Your radar clear, low of 56 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. A suspect was shot by Beech Grove police this afternoon. Donnie Burgess reports.
Beech Grove police spotted a car Friday that looked like a reported stolen car. They tried to pull the driver over, but the driver sped away and the chase was on.
During the pursuit, as it went through the city streets in this area,
Several attempts at a pit maneuver were used.
Sergeant John Prine with Indiana State Police says the suspect also rammed the cops a few times before a Beech Grove officer fired a shot and hit the suspect. No cops were hurt, and the suspect is in stable condition at the hospital. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The fully activated Indiana Task Force 1 is now in Maui to help with search and rescue efforts. The rescue team's leader, Jay Settergren, says there's several first-time people with the task force.
It'll be interesting because being away from your family that long and sometimes not being able to communicate with them while we're there because of poor communications can be challenging, especially for a first-timer.
He says there's a family support unit to help. A federal appeals court has rejected a plea to expand absentee vote by mail in Indiana to all age groups. A panel of several judges ruled this week that Indiana's age limit on voting by mail does not violate the 26th Amendment. If you're over 65 in the Hoosier State, you can vote by mail without having to give a reason. If you're younger than that, you'll still have to meet certain criteria if you can't vote in person. The latest iRead results show that 20% of Indiana third graders need more basic reading skills. Brian Hedrick has the story.
Education Secretary Katie Jenner says it's only getting worse. Reading skills in Indiana have been dropping for a decade, and leaders say it has little to do with the pandemic. The State Department of Education wants reading skills to improve, and they've given schools 4 years to do that. Jenner says low reading skills have serious consequences for Indiana's long-term future. K through 12 schools have $1 billion in federal pandemic relief left to spend. Ryan Hedrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
IU men's basketball head coach Mike Woodson is getting a $1 million raise. Athletic director Scott Dolson said Woodson earned it through success on the court and recruiting. He's won 44 games since he's been in charge, and the pay bump makes Woodson the third highest paid coach in the Big Ten. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
I have a friend who just moved to St. Louis. Huge career switch, but she's still paying mortgage here in town, just killing her financially. She used a traditional home selling process as something like an agent that had been in the family forever, and what a nightmare this has been. Matt Bear here. Hey, it makes me know that I'm using Open Door and the Open Door app because they let me skip all the hassles that come with buying and selling your home. You pick the closing date, so no double mortgages. You're in control from the very beginning, and the process, man, is so streamlined. You could request an offer from anywhere on any device, even sell your house and buy your next house all in one move. I mean, there isn't always a perfect time to move. Open Door can help anytime be a perfect time. Take control of your move when you start with Open Door. Visit opendoor.com or download the Open Door app to get started. That's opendoor.com or download the Open Door app. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage Incorporated, license 020-61130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage LLC and its other markets. Terms and conditions apply.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, how are the roads, Matt Bear?
Harrison, we are doing better in Lebanon. The front of the line is now starting to move on northbound 65. We had a nasty crash at State Road 39 that covered 3 left lanes, and those lanes are now open, and traffic is moving through. Still stopped at State Road 267. You'll be out of there before too long. Northbound 465, northwest side, stop and go 86th Street up to 865. Emerson Avenue still shut down for a police investigation from Raymond down to Subway Street. South side eastbound 465 stop and go traffic before Man Road over to Harding. Traffic is sponsored by Staples Stores. At Staples, school savings are always in session. From art supplies and essentials to the latest tech in stock and price low. School on, save on at your local Staples store. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on something for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And a forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This afternoon and evening, we're tracking partly to mostly sunny skies across the entire state. Temperatures going from the 80-degree mark in the afternoon to about 55 overnight, so a cooler, calm, quiet evening coming our way. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Renard Sudas for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it! My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Samaritan's Purse is a Christian organization. They give aid to victims of war, poverty, natural disasters all around the world, including right here in the United States. They're currently in Hawaii with the devastating wildfires that have destroyed parts of that state. That brings us to our next guest on the DriveHubler.com hotline. Edward Graham is the grandson of the great evangelist Billy Graham, a military vet and COO of Samaritan's Purse. Edward, thank you for making the time to come back on the show. Where are you in Hawaii right now, and what are you seeing?
Well, I appreciate again you having me on. Always great talking to you. I'm actually on the island of Maui, and it's been bad. I've been down to the community in Lahaina to see the devastation, and in years of combat, it reminds me a lot of that. I mean, complete destruction.
Wow.
There's a lot of anger, a lot of hurt, a lot of loss, and people are really struggling here. It's a strong community. It's very family oriented, but there's just people very angry and hurt right now.
Edward, Jason Hammer here. What are they angry about?
Yeah, I mean, there's such great loss, and there's a lot of frustration, with local government and city. And stuff like this. I'm not blaming anyone's fault. It's a tragedy, and it was very fast winds, and the fire sparked, and it was a firestorm. I mean, there really was very little time to do anything. If you've ever been to Hawaii, in this part of Hawaii, it could be very dry. Most people think it's a tropical, rainforest, and there's parts of this island that are. You could just go 2 minutes down the road and it'll change, but it is so dry over there, and you can see why it spread so quickly. But it's just the loss and such. I mean, there's 111 bodies that have, that they've said they found, but there's still over 1,000 people missing. So the city's locked down right now. Some of the residents have been able to go down there, but for what we do with gifting, that's where we help homeowners find a wedding ring or a brooch, a family heirloom. It helps bring closure. It allows for conversation. It's actually one of the best deployments that we do. Some people may think it's small or trivial, but no, it helps bring healing. But we won't have access to this community. There's still, I think, only about 40% cleared to the community looking for bodies with the cadaver dogs. So that's what people are a little frustrated and angry with, how long it takes. But that's kind of the reality on the ground.
And what you talked about it there for just a second. What exactly is Samaritan's Purse role right now in the recovery efforts?
Yeah, so we deploy. We've got about 30 of our team members on the ground, to include an additional about 10 rapid response chaplains from the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. They're trained on how to share hope in crisis. They've been here from the very beginning, too. We have those actually live on the island here in Hawaii, and they've been ministering to those in the shelters, praying with them, listening. Really, their job is to listen. Our volunteers have already set up our equipment. We flew in our DC-8 cargo aircraft. It has all the equipment we use on our semis back in the 48, but we had to fly that over here, and we outfitted U-Hauls. And what we'll do is we'll go through and sift and help these homeowners look for just lost pieces of memories and life, and it does help bring closure. We're committed to transitioning to a rebuild here when that time comes, and that's for the uninsured and non-insured, helping them get back in their homes. We build homes all the time back in the 48. But it's going to be difficult here. Building on the island, if anyone's familiar with Hawaii, the permit process, we're going to need the help of the government to kind of get through some of that red tape. So that's our prayer, that God would just allow us to have favor, that we can bless this community. There's other ways we're serving them with supplies and resources. We had a pastor's meeting yesterday where we brought in a pastor from Paradise, California, who lost everything. His home, his 70% of his congregation lost their homes. So he's been here sharing. We had a great pastors meeting, sharing ideas how we can serve them. But the immediate relief, like the water and housing, that's been kind of taken care of. There's still people struggling with that, but there was such a flood of help from the local populace. They take care of their own here very well. Now it's into what's next, the next phase.
Edward Graham is our guest of Samaritan's Purse. And Edward, I want to make sure that our audience here in Indiana can really understand the magnitude of what it's like there. You are a guy that has seen a lot of horrific things in your military career, been in a lot of dangerous situations. When you found out you were going to Hawaii, I'm sure you probably prepared yourself mentally of what it might look like. Once you got there, how did the actual sights of what you're seeing compared to what you had in your mind?
Yeah, I talked to my wife's cousin still in the military. He's a general out here in Hawaii, and he just visited, and he's like, Edward, it reminds me of Mosul. We were in Mosul together back in 2005. And so when you pull up, and it's a beautiful piece of paradise right on the water, but as you pull up on the high ground and you look down into it, it's complete destruction. I mean, about every building, I would say 90% of the community is destroyed. Now, and the odd thing is, in certain pockets, like I saw 4 churches not even scarred.
It's amazing.
Not even touched. Everything around it, or another building, a grocery store that had complete destruction around it. But it's the ash, it's the smell. It brings you back to those memories of my previous life a little bit. But it looks like a wasteland in a way. And that's why it's hard for this community to see that, to see such a vibrant community with so much history. It's gone. And when there's a loss of hope, people ask, has God forsaken me? And that's why we come at Samaritan's Purse. We want people to know that, no, Jesus is not forsaking you. God hasn't. He loves you. Loves you so much that he sent his son Jesus. So the resources we have to be able to serve and to fly over here on our cargo planes and our volunteers, we have over 2,000 volunteers signed up and ready to come. But we're not going to bring them all in until the sifting starts, and we're allowed to do that and have access to the community. But people want to serve and help their neighbors in the ditch. And it's just going to take some time. It's kind of expectation management. When you have loss, it's great, and they're still looking for human remains. We're respectful of the leadership, and we wait for the approval to go in.
I had heard stories like the one you just mentioned of devastation and buildings burned to the ground, but churches and other buildings like that, like grocery stores, still standing. That made the hair on the back of my neck stand up when you said that, Edward.
Yeah, it's kind of eerie to see it, but I talked to some of the pastors of those churches that survived, and they're telling me horrific stories and the stories of survival. But it's the unknown. The cell phones and the power went out, and this one pastor I was telling the story of a woman that his husband or her husband was looking for her and was talking to her on the phone, and then her phone went dead. And then he finally found her 2 days later in a hospital with 60% burns on her body. And I can imagine going through that. Those are the kind of stories you're hearing. It was horrific. And so I just ask your listeners, pray for Hawaii, and especially pray for the first responders here. They're exhausted.
What are the conditions right now? Like, is the power slowly starting to come back? What's the time frame? Have you been able to talk to some folks?
Yeah, I've been down there. The power, they were working hard to get the power poles back up because the power goes right down through there to the other communities down the beach, that did not get affected by the fire. So the power is back on in the surrounding communities. There are some homes that survive down there, and the owners have loose access to get back and forth, but they're really worried about contamination down there, especially the water. The water will be contaminated probably for a long time. So they have to work through all that. But for the city itself, complete devastation. For the rest of the island, they got temporary cell phone towers up that they put back up. And that's what people forget, that when those towers burn and go down, it affects the rest of the system. And so that's why they were struggling here for communication. We're so reliant on cell phones now. And then the power lines and the telephone poles all went down as well.
Edward Graham, Samaritan's Purse. Obviously, prayer is the number one priority for you. What else can people do to help out if they're listening to this right now?
Yeah, there's local churches here doing great things that you can find, and you can go into their websites. I'm proud of the local churches here. If you're interested in what Samaritan's Purse is doing, you can go to SamaritansPurse.org. I'd ask you, if you can, sign up to volunteer. When that call comes and we have access to the community, we'll make that out, and we'll be able to house overnighters to be able to come here and serve the community.
Well, God bless you, Edward. Thank you for what you and your organization are doing over there, and please give us an update soon.
No, thanks for having me. We appreciate what you guys do. You're awesome.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
All right, Hammer, problem on the northwest side. This is a crash northbound 465 before I-865, and we have a mess in that center lane right now. Several cars involved. Traffic is stopped back to West 86th Street, and that will get worse as the afternoon progresses. We are looking at inbound 65 stop-and-go traffic 29th to Meridian Bend. Eastbound 70 grinds into downtown from Tibbs. Northbound 465 Lawrence stop-and-go traffic from 70 up to East 56, and inbound 69 jam fast from 106th Street down to 82nd. Traffic sponsored by LASIK Plus. LASIK Plus is the patient's choice for LASIK. Get 20% off LASIK when treated in August. That can be over $900 off when treating both eyes, plus guaranteed financing. Visit mylasicoffer.com for details. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
77 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
This is Denny Smith for Zero Res. And how about tackling those ugly summer stains on those carpets? More than that, your carpets are the largest air filter in your home and can hold 4 times their weight in dirt. Where do you think everybody sneezes, wipes their shoes, and drops food? That's right, your carpets. And the kids are headed back to school, and the germ pool there means even more sniffles and sneezes. It really is a great time to clean the carpets, and it's quick and easy to schedule them online by phone. Nobody but Zero Res has the patented electrolyzed ZR water that cleans with no soap, no harsh chemicals, and no residue to attract more dirt. They can even clean your ductwork to help you breathe easier. Duct cleaning improves the air quality in your home as well as the efficiency of your HVAC equipment and reducing energy costs. Call Zero Res today and mention WIBC. You'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $139, and they'll give you a free hallway and $50 off air duct cleaning too. For a smarter, lasting clean and really easy scheduling, call 388-5141 or visit ZeroResIndy.com.
Basements get a bad rap. Probably because so many of them are wet, leaky, and musty. Thanks to screenwriters, crawl spaces aren't very popular either. Michaelis is putting an end to the horror show. Their time-tested waterproofing systems eliminate and prevent water issues. Damp and moldy becomes clean and healthy. And their French drains, vapor barriers, and encapsulation techniques turn crawl spaces into a Disney set. Yeah, okay, that probably went a bit far. But with over 35 years' experience, they have a lot of homeowners enjoying their basements again. Think Michaelis. And think how nice it would be to get rid of foundation cracks, basement leaks, damp smells, and all the nightmares that come with them. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
We buy any car. Why sell your car at WeBuyAnyCar.com? Because when you trade in, you're dealing with a dealer. And sure, they're interested in a good deal. For them, not for you. Come to WeBuyAnyCar.com instead. All we do is buy cars. You get in, get out, and get paid at a fair price. So don't take chances with a trade-in. Go to WeBuyAnyCar.com for a free online valuation. Find out how much your car's worth at WeBuyAnyCar.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. You want the best price in 2023? Now is the time during our inventory reduction sale. While supplies last, save big on all Bassett reclining furniture, all Pollywood and Berlin Gardens outdoor furniture, Maven bedroom and dining, plus Lazy Boy and all Smith Brothers leather furniture. In stock, while supplies last, biggest sale in 2023 only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
The Hoosier Hardwood Festival is back August 25th through 27th at the Boone County Fairgrounds in Lebanon. Experience lumberjacks competing in speed cutting, axe throwing, and the perilous boom run. Marvel as over 20 of America's finest chainsaw carving artists turn logs into masterpieces. Meet the world-renowned Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel. There's fun for all ages with live music, a petting zoo, kids zone, rock walls, and bounce houses. It's going down. Timber! August 25th through 27th in Lebanon. Discounts and details at HoosierHardwoodFestival.com.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids, to work, to friends, and everything in between. You have to get sleep, and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep, so you learn to sleep better, night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed, plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday.
Right now, take advantage of Rhino Shield's summer savings. Get $1,000 off plus 0% interest for 18 months.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield. Are you really okay with this?
Are you okay? Everything's gonna be okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm pretty far from okay.
Are you okay with this? On the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, yeah!
Sources say Taylor Swift has been offered the Super Bowl halftime show, but she's turned it down. Hammer, are you okay with this?
Yes, I am, and it's not because I'm a Taylor hater. It's quite the opposite. I respect what this young lady is doing. Her tour has been a monster. It's been the most talked about tour I can remember maybe in my lifetime. People are comparing what she's doing right now with this Eras tour to like Beatlemania almost.
She's selling tickets a year and a half in advance of concerts, by the way. Lucas Oil, she's doing 3 nights. They're all sold out.
People are paying thousands of bucks a ticket to see her perform.
Oh, my wife's friend paid $13 on the secondary market, right? Like, wherever you can buy those at, like, I don't know, StubHub, or is that still a thing? I don't know, whatever. $1,300 a ticket, 4 tickets, and not just regular seats for that show next November.
There's not a lot of people who can have leverage against the National Football League. Like, the NFL is king. The NFL is a monster. It's the biggest sport, and some would argue pop culture phenomenon we have in this country. NFL Sundays, Monday Night Football, etc. But Taylor Swift is the one entertainer right now that can play hardball with the NFL. I'm not buying completely that she won't be the halftime show, because it sounds like she wants to be paid to perform for the NFL.
Well, you said the Super Bowl doesn't pay.
No, the NFL does not pay their halftime performers. Nobody gets an actual paycheck to do that. Now, what happens, and we've seen this the last 15 plus years, is when you perform as an artist at halftime of the Super Bowl, your downloads of music skyrocket that week, the week before and the week after.
And all the free advertising in the weeks leading up.
Right.
To the
your
Super Bowl.
Tour sales sell out. You make millions and millions of dollars on iTunes and record sales. So it's better than just getting a paycheck. But Taylor already does that. So she's like, look, I'll do it, but I don't need any help promoting myself. Have you seen my tour?
Yeah.
Give me an actual paycheck.
Yeah, I'm Taylor Swift. You're the NFL. I mean, you make billions and billions of dollars. I'm not in the habit of giving away my services for free, because I don't need what you say you would give in return for that. I don't need it. I already have it.
Imagine somebody that has bought a Taylor Swift ticket that's really expensive. Then they find out Taylor's performing for free, at the Super Bowl. I know it's a different city. It's a different circumstance. It's not the same full 3-hour show, but I think Taylor's just kind of playing hardball here with the NFL.
I need to figure out what the deal is. If somebody could let me know, at Hammer and Nigel. Am I able to get tickets now? I thought it was sold out for next November. I don't know for sure. Because I was put on the wait list, right? You had to have a special pre-sale code.
Right.
And then, I got the email. I got the Taylor Swift rejection email. Sorry, you're on a wait list, but hang in there. What's the deal with Taylor Swift tickets?
What's the deal with the wait list?
At Hammer and Nigel, if you can help us out here. All right. The hot new trend at weddings is to hire a tattoo artist, so guests can get inked at your reception. I guess the idea is to give people a permanent memento to remember on your wedding day. Are you okay with this?
No, I'm not okay with this. So are the bride and the groom going to pay for the tattoo removal when he cheats on her in about a year and a half and they end up getting a sloppy divorce? When that wedding is completely in the tank and they separate and they get divorced, are they going to pay for the removal? Plus, imagine how much this takes away from the party atmosphere that you have at a wedding reception. You've got the band or the DJ up there doing their thing. They're trying to get people on the dance floor. You want people doing shout, having a good time. You don't want to hear somebody screaming in the back corner, getting a freaking tattoo.
Right. I mean, it takes hours to get a tattoo, from what I understand.
I guess it depends on the tattoo and the tattoo artist. But
well, wait, you don't have to they're not saying to get the couple that's getting married, like their initials tattooed on your body, are they?
Some want that on there. Like, let's say that
I don't get it.
I invite you and Lindsay to our wedding.
Yeah.
Would you guys get a JHCH tattoo with the anniversary date on your bicep?
No, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand that.
And where do you get it at on your body? Again, if I'm out here doing the chicken dance on the dance floor, I don't want to turn my head and see somebody's grandma getting their ass tattooed. Got their big bloomers down below their knees.
Okay. So today is National Bad Poetry Day. Is this a real thing, Hammer? Are you okay with National Bad Poetry Day?
Yes, this is a real thing because every single day is something dumb if you look at the calendar. And I'm here for it. Yes, I am 100% okay with this because bad poetry has been a gift to the Hammer and Nigel show for a long time.
Really?
Remember when Ted Koppel put out his horribly just dull and boring poem about the current state of politics?
The things we relied on, outdated, passé. Is the new world much better? Well, that's hard to say.
That sucks. You hear that?
I've never heard that before in my life. Why did he do that?
Because he's Ted Koppel and he's a weenie and he wants to look like he's the smartest guy in the room.
The things we relied on, outdated, passé.
Outdated.
Is the new world much better? Well, that's hard to say.
That's the worst poem on the face of the planet.
Oh, you think that?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden.
Poem one today says, and always one moon like a silent drum tapping at every rooftop and every window on every of every country. Let me start this over. I'm getting so intimidated by being here. And always one moon, like a silent drum, tapping on every rooftop and every window of one county.
Read the teleprompter, you old goat.
Oh,
county.
Wow.
Anyway, as Joe Biden would say, bad poetry has been a staple of this program. And every once in a while, you and I even dive into a little bit of poetry. I had 'Twas the night before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, the Cuomo brothers were downstairs, putting their hands up Grandma's blouse. The stockings are hung. Dr. Fauci is spreading fear. Elizabeth Warren is in the kitchen.
I'm going to get me a beer.
The gifts are all wrapped with ribbons and bows. Ilhan Omar and her brother are under the mistletoe. More family and friends have arrived. They're all gathered in the room. Nancy Pelosi just got here. She flew in on her broom.
Oh, no.
When out on the lawn, we heard such a clatter. False alarm! Wrong fat guy. It was just Jerry Nadler. But Santa would arrive with his white beard by his mouth. He brought Kamala a one-way ticket to the border so she could finally get her ass down south. AOC got red lipstick. Bernie, a government check. Adam Schiff got 13 scarves to cover up that big pencil neck. Santa brought new egos as the polling shows they've been bruised. He brought the Clintons new body bags because all of theirs have already been used. Santa and a guest flew off, and you could hear the sleigh bells ring. They said, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all."
You know the thing.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Hey, that was better. That was better than anything from Ted Koppel or Joe Biden.
Happy National Bad Poetry Day from the Hammer and Nigel show. Alex Marlowe of Breitbart joins us next. Right now, let's take a look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A police shooting south of Indy, 77 degrees downtown with a few clouds. There's nothing on your radar. Tonight's low falling down to the mid-50s. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:30. Beech Grove police shot a suspect earlier today after a police chase. State Police Sergeant John Perrine says the suspect did not go quietly.
The suspect vehicle allegedly rammed at least one of the police vehicles during the pursuit.
The suspect is in stable condition. No officers were hurt. President Biden is warning residents of Southern California to be ready for Hurricane Hillary.
I urge everyone in the path of this storm to take precautions and listen to the guidance from state and local officials.
Hillary's currently a Category 4 hurricane, and it's why the region is under its first ever tropical storm watch. It's expected to reach land over the weekend as a tropical storm. The New York Times says former President Donald Trump is not planning to show up to the first GOP primary debates. Instead, he's going to sit down for an interview with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson the same night. WIBC's coverage of the debate starts at 7 p.m. next Wednesday. The longtime face of the Indiana Republican Party is stepping away. Donnie Burgess reports.
If you haven't heard of Kyle Hupfer, he's been the go-to guy for the Indiana GOP for the last 6.5 years. Now he's ready to step away from the position, saying Friday it's been an honor and a privilege, and that he'll step down once his official successor is named. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
All of the votes have been counted. The favorite food at the Indiana State Fair this year was street corn pizza. If you weren't able to grab a slice, it's a white sauce pizza with a blend of mozzarella and Parmesan cheese, melted and buried under fire-roasted corn, chili lime seasoning, and cilantro. Buffalo pork and mac and a pepperoni pizza pretzel finished second and third. And with traffic at 5:33, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, northbound 465 on the northwest side. It's just savage right now. Stopped from 79th up to 865. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars at least over on the right shoulder right now. It has a stop to 79th for a delay time of 28 minutes. Also looking at the south side, eastbound 465 stop and go traffic 65 over to Emerson Avenue and inbound 65 stop and go. MLK to the north split. Eastbound 70 slow to downtown from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Design it before you buy it at bwindow.com. And now for a limited time, get 40% off all products, a free entry door, plus 20 months, no interest, no payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This afternoon and evening, we're tracking partly to mostly sunny skies across the entire state. Temperatures going from the 80-degree mark in the afternoon to about 55 overnight, so a cooler, calm, quiet evening coming our way. I'm Wish TV Storm Check 8 meteorologist Junior Arsutis for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Longtime WIBC listeners will recognize our next guest. He was a regular caller into the Greg Garrison program. He is the author of the best-selling book, Breaking the News, and Breitbart News Editor-in-Chief, Alex Marlowe. Welcome back to the Hammer and Nigel Show, Alex. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks so much for having me on.
So let's get into it. Let's dive right in. All things Trump, the fourth indictment. They're getting squirrely down there in Georgia. I think I remember you writing something in Breaking the News about you kind of had some trepidation about Trump's team down in Georgia investigating the election down there, didn't you?
You know, you guys have always been so supportive of me, and I really appreciate you bringing that up, because I was just revisiting that, because I was thinking about Georgia and how Georgia feels like the place where Trump is the most vulnerable. And I was highly critical of his team in Georgia in particular. I thought it was a bunch of C-listers, and it was sort of a clown show. And it's very hard to challenge an election on a legitimate basis. And I think that a lot of Trump's efforts were in good faith, or relatively in good faith. But for some reason in Georgia, it just seemed like from the start, he had not assembled a great team down there. And I was really concerned at the time that they were making some clown moves. And now it looks like they're coming home to roost a little bit. But they might get out-clowned by the other side, because you've got, I think they're making a lot of really interesting moves. And by interesting, I mean stupid. They're trying to charge 19 people at the same time. They want to do a mugshot of Trump, the most famous man on the planet. All that just is totally a stupid hour.
And Alex, Jason Hammer here. Let's talk about the mugshot here, because that's been one thing that we have not seen yet. Deals being made behind the scenes, no perp walk, no mugshot, none of that kind of stuff. Georgia wants this bad. They have already came out and said, you will have the mugshot. What's this going to mean if it is released for not only Donald Trump, but could this backfire on the Democrats?
I think it backfires with people who would like to live in a democracy or in a representative democracy or a republic the way we live in it, because it makes it clear it's a political act.
Yeah.
But I think people who are committed leftists, the type of people who show up to vote against Trump or to vote for Joe Biden, they probably like it. And that's, I think, what this is all about. I think that one thing that Biden understands, and I think the one thing that the institutional left really understands right now, is that they're not courting the middle of the country. They're shaming the middle of the country for being insufficiently angry at Trump. But they think their bread and butter is to motivate their own base, and their base loves this stuff. If you need any more proof of that, just watch CNN for 5 minutes. They're giddy and delighted over all this stuff. They absolutely crave the idea of Trump in an orange jumpsuit.
And just one more thing on the multiple indictments of Donald Trump and multiple federal and states. Just your 30,000-foot perspective of exactly what is going on here. It's Joe Biden. To me, it's Joe Biden actively trying to put his political opponent, who's running for president, in jail. And I mean, that's the kind of stuff third world countries are made of right there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Banana Republic stuff. I don't think I'm the first to have that take. I'm sure you guys agree. And one thing, though, that does not get pointed out enough is that Biden has made this calculation correctly, that he should say nothing positive or negative about it, just don't create any headlines. That's been his approach, and it's working for him. But it should not be acceptable to the American people. The American people should demand that he weigh in. And if he does weigh in, his point should be that this is not okay. And he won't do that. He'll never do that because, again, he understands his base, and his base just laps this stuff up like a cat. But he really should come out and say, this is not appropriate, I don't support it, and we should drop the charges and move on. But he would never do that because, again, his base would hate him for that.
Well, let me ask you this. Is Joe Biden, like Hammer and I, we love to laugh at the gaffes and the dumb things he says and the teleprompter and, falling up the stairs, falling off his bike. But is Joe Biden really kind of smarter than we're giving him credit for? And the Biden family, for that matter.
You guys asked the big question, and I have been thinking about this for a long time. I know you guys know that I'm working on a book on Joe Biden that I'll come and talk about when it comes out soon to the audience, and I can come back multiple times and talk all through it. But I'm 100% yes to that question. Joe Biden is way more savvy and smart than we know. We've been very lazy casting him as an idiot, and that just makes it so that he's gotten away with more stuff. And we're finally now, it feels like, after 50 years of having to endure Joe Biden, starting to take him a little more seriously, and no thanks to Hunter on that one. But it's the nature of his clownish, public, out-facing persona and his goofball crackhead son has made it so that we have underestimated some of their gifts politically, and I think that needs to stop if there's any hope of him not getting the White House for another 4 years.
Alex Marlowe is our guest, Breitbart News editor-in-chief. So, Alex, it's less than a week until the first GOP debate. I'm a gambling guy. I'm a Vegas guy. I like to put some money down. If I'm the dealer at the roulette table right now, and I have to yell to the table, all bets are in, all bets are final, what's your final prediction? Does Donald Trump make his way to that debate stage Wednesday?
I don't know what the odds are, but I'm betting big he doesn't show up. I don't see a huge advantage for him to show up, other than I think that he could command so much attention that I think that he could potentially use it as like a group interview session for cabinet positions or something like that, where he's doing like a public vetting of potential people for his administration because he's so far ahead. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think especially with some people who are just going to try to attack him the whole day, I don't think he wants to feed that news cycle. And I think that the news cycle of the anti-Trumpers who will be on the stage attacking Trump is already going to get a lot of attention. I think if Trump was there to be the whipping boy, then it would just be nonstop, 24/7, days on end, people just trashing Trump. It would be breaking news alerts at the New York Times and all that stuff. And it's just, I don't think he wants to do that. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, we already know what DeSantis' strategy is. Somebody leaked his campaign strategy was to back up Trump, to have Trump's back, and to go after Ramaswamy. What is, in general, what happened to DeSantis, and where do you think his campaign went wrong, and what does he need to do next Wednesday to right the ship?
Oh boy! I mean, you guys want to clear the rest of the show out?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
this one. Yeah,
we have time.
This is I know you guys kind of follow what we're doing at Breitbart pretty closely, so you probably know I've been complaining about DeSantis' campaign for a long time, and I think he's just a wonderful governor, and I write a lot of praise about him in Breaking the News. A lot of his handling of COVID was exemplary, and I think even though he hasn't had 100% batting average, I think his war on woke in Florida has generally been a force for good, but he just has run just one of the worst campaigns I've ever witnessed, and this goes back to before he was even on the campaign, where he obviously was running, everyone knew he was running, and yet he wouldn't declare, and then he assembled this team of just bozos. Just there's no one in the entire organization seems to be competent at all, and they were all tied to other campaigns that had failed in the past, and a lot of these guys had made a lot of money but had not really had the success to back it up, and then he hired all these online influencers, which was so strange, this Twitter army that would just insult Trump supporters, which is a cardinal sin, as you guys know, in the modern-day Republican Party. I don't have to tell you that if you insult the audience, you guys talk show hosts, I mean, we live this every day. You insult the audience, you have no audience. And that's what they did. He was paying these people to tweet trash talk against Trump supporters, not just Trump. It was so off from the start. And then when Trump was getting politically harassed in Florida, he stood down on it. He took a pass. He kind of mocked Trump. And so I think he's figured out all that was a mistake, and he's going to reset. But now he's going to reset when he's single digits in the polls. And the sad part about this is that he's such a great governor. I think he would be a good president. Right. But he's just such a terrible candidate. Could be a great president, but a terrible candidate.
I'm with you 100% on that, Alex. If somehow DeSantis were the president, he would give me everything I want in terms of governing. But I just don't think he can get there. He's going backwards. Meanwhile, it seems like Vivek Ramaswamy is the new darling in this whole thing. Had the big sit down with Tucker Carlson. The new poll from New Hampshire, the Trafalgar poll, shows him basically neck and neck with DeSantis at number 2. What do we make of the run of Vivek Ramaswamy?
Vivek's a brilliant guy. I've been friends with Vivek for a while, which is kind of funny that I guess as I get older, some of my friends are going to run for president. I did not have that on my bingo card before I turned 40. But Vivek is a very bright guy, and he's internalized some of the stuff naturally that I think that I was just walking you through with regards to DeSantis. That you can't insult the voters. You have to appeal to their internal optimism. You have to understand the power of Trump's movement, that Trump as the symbolic figure is so larger than life that you're not going to get anywhere attacking him or attacking his voters if you want to thrive in this moment in Republican politics. And I think that his relentless campaigning, his relentless optimism, and I think he could improve on a couple issues, but a pretty great slate of issues that he's running on. It's just such a winning combination. And do I think he gets the nomination? Of course, that's not the smart money, but he's announcing himself as a very important voice in politics, and I think he's making just one smart move after the next.
So, Alex, your book, your best-selling book, Breaking the News, came out a couple of years ago. You have a new book coming out very soon, which I know you cannot talk very much about. I mean, is there anything you can tell us? Do you have a release date?
Just for your insider audience only. But I spent a year investigating Joe Biden. This is the biggest, most comprehensive, I think, biography of Biden to date, and I think it includes all of the unearthed details that people would be looking for that you could possibly attain without having, subpoena power or the power of the federal government behind you. It was undertaken with a team of just some of the best journalists in the world. I was blessed to work with them, and I think if people read this book, they're going to find it really devastating for Joe Biden. And I think that it is. It's called Breaking Biden. You can pre-order it now. The big publicity push, I'm trying to delay that until it comes out in October, but it's going to be, I think, a big event if people pay attention to it, because the nature of the details of what Joe Biden has gotten away with over the years, I think, will stun even the most attentive news reader.
That's Alex Marlowe, editor-in-chief of Breitbart. Got a new book coming out in October, Breaking Biden. Alex, come back as soon as possible. Definitely when the book drops. We love you here in Indy.
You guys are right. We love you, and we love WIBC. And whenever you guys want to have us, me and anyone else at Breitbart, we're available.
Excellent, man. Have a good weekend.
Okay, guys.
It is Friday. We've got Colts home game tomorrow.
Yeah.
We need something to get us in the mood, Nige.
I know it's Beer Sample Friday, but I actually have something different that I'm going to sneak in here.
Oh.
It's not exactly beer. Is that allowed?
Sure.
Right, okay. Find out what it is next. Beer Sample Friday coming up.
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I've gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Why Window Nation? Why now, you ask? As interest and mortgage rates continue to climb, Window Nation is still keeping 0% interest for 2 years and adding value to your house while saving you money on your energy bills as well. And the deal they got right now is killer. No money down, no payments, no interest for 2 years. Call this week. You get 50% off all style windows and an additional 10% off your entire order.
0 money down, 0 payments, 0 interest for 2 years. Plus, get 50% off all style of windows. You name the style, you get the deal. Bow, bay, double hung, any style you want. Save thousands with your new windows and watch your energy bills lower because these windows are energy efficient. If you don't want to take our word for it, call Window Nation and ask them yourself. 866-90-NATION. Ask for the deal, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Discover how to save more of your hard-earned money. Listen to WIBC this Saturday from 5 to 6 a.m. for secure retirement tips from Crown Haven Wealth Advisors. This Saturday, 5 to 6 a.m. on WIBC.
Discover uncompromised wealth management that serves your best interests, not your advisors. Visit allworthfinancial.com to book a free appointment today. That's allworthfinancial.com.
I'd rather be folding laundry.
This is gonna be fun.
Said no one ever. Also, no one enjoys wasting time in traffic. That's why we love saving you time. Matt Baer Traffic.
Backups are already starting.
On 93 WIBC.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
All right, Hammer, northbound 465 still jammed from 79th Street up to 865. That's because of a crash on the right shoulder. And inbound 65, stop and go, MLK to Meridian Pad. Eastbound 70 dragging into the south split from west. And northbound 65 slow out of Raymond up to Washington Street. Northbound 65 dragging right now from Southport Road up to Edgewood Avenue. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Design it before you buy it at bwindow.com. And now for a limited time, get 40% off all products, a free entry door plus 20 months, no interest and no payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
77 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Right now,
Hammer and Nigel present
Beer Sample.
Fry.
I got some beers. Let's drink them, huh?
Beers on sale, people. Come down, get you some.
Brought to you by our good friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Somebody dropped this off for us, and it's not beer. And I was hoping you'd be okay with that because it's rum.
Yes. Yes.
And it's
a continuation of Are You Okay With This? Yes, I'm okay with this.
Distillery 64, New Albany, Indiana.
Okay.
This is what they call their oaked rum. It's won several awards, several major awards from like the State Fair and stuff like that.
All right.
I mean,
pour that in a little glass here and slide that bad boy over here.
When's the last time you drank straight rum?
Straight rum has been a while, but mixed with some drinks on vacation. Like, I drink a lot of rum when I'm on vacation and those tropical...
those mixed drinks. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tropical type drinks.
Distillery 64 from New Albany, Indiana.
This looks like the kind of rum that Pedro Serrano had in Major League. It's very bad, Steel Joe Boo's rum. It is very bad.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Woo. Hello. That's real good.
Boy, that is good.
That's strong, but good.
Fill it up again. I want another one right now.
All right, we went a little long with Alex Marlowe. Let's take a break and reset the top stories of the day. Happy Beer Sample Friday, everybody. We'll be back. It's a Hammer and Nigel show.
Woo!
Take a little trip this summer in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Indiana has over 20 state parks, so camp, swim, or just enjoy the best scenery the country has to offer. We want you to see it all. That's why every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Shop any of Hubler's 12 locations or visit drivehubler.com and choose from over 1,000 vehicles. Chevy, Ford, GMC, Buick, Nissan, Acura, Mazda, Honda, and many more. All makes, all models, certified vehicles, luxury vehicles, even the hard-to-find ones. Plus, every Hubler Q-certified vehicle includes a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report. Take a little trip this summer because Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. So what drives Indiana? DriveHubler.com. For over 1,000 vehicles, visit any of our 12 locations. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
You know, working with Indie Decorative Concrete, they're the ones that completely took out my old front porch and sidewalk and put in a custom stamped concrete area, patio, more space. It looks absolutely awesome and unique, and you can see before and after pictures at the Hammer and Nigel Facebook page. But I like working with Indie Decorative Concrete because they don't use subcontractors. And it's a family atmosphere. A lot of their employees have been with them for years and years. In fact, one of the project managers that was at my house was the owner's son-in-law. And Indie Decorative Concrete made it such an easy process. They got all the permits. They did all the work. They were done in 3 days, basically, from start to finish. Also, everyone who works for them is a W-2 employee. No subcontractors coming to your house. They really invest in their finishers and training and safety. And many of the same guys for years have been working, including Mario Sr., been there since 2009. Check out their website, and the work that they do is excellent. IndieDecorativeConcrete.com.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Say goodbye to flooded basements with the help of Justin Dorsey Plumbing. Our knowledgeable, friendly technicians can install a brand new sub pump to keep your home dry and protected year-round. Call us at 463-255-7619 and enjoy a limited-time offer of $55 off your new pump. That's 463-255-7619. Don't cry about your plumbing problems. Call today, fix today is the Justin Dorsey Plumbing way.
Michaelis presents Password. Is basement.
Okay. Wet.
Rain.
Leaky.
Faucet.
Stinky.
Socks.
Moldy.
Underwear.
What? It's basement. Really? Moldy underwear?
Well, sometimes.
Ew. I did not need to know that.
Basement waterproofing and French drains. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Make it Michaelis.
Come on. Take your basement back. 844-FIX-INDY.
Design it before you buy it. For a limited time, receive 40% off all products, plus a free entry door and 20 months no interest.